go. There we go. There they go. Here we go.
This is your
I don't even know if that's working. Uh-oh. I think it didn't work. Everything, we're having technical difficulties. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Wow. Hopefully this works. I'm sorry. There we go.
your last chance.
There we go.
After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. I've lost you.
Here we go.
A mirror to my soul. Well, if you let me know, the mirror to my soul. When you play. Have you ever been in love? Inside it, describe it in a few words, define it. Two bodies, two souls, unified in a beautiful alignment. Told the whole hood that you couldn't stay silent. All the homies say you can't stop smiling. Everybody like you glowing, you shining. Every day summer like an African climate. Every moment, every single memory in your mind, you rewind it. Some say love is light and it's giving you sight. Others say that it's leaving you blinded. So open-minded, inspired and illuminous. So high, on cloud nine, breakdancing on the cumulus. So consumed, bliss, emotional. Everything in the world is so lovely, so fly, heart all fluttery. You look into the eyes and you think you another me. So alive, reach self-discovery when true love is the emphasis. And that's why I'm awake for my other half, like missing percentages. See, true love's never envious or possessive. That foolishness, see, I left it. But where's my divine mate? I know he exists, I'll wait. I speak these words into the universe to become action. One day I'll recite this verse and no longer will I be asking. Let me know. The mirror to my soul. When you play. I can see it so clear in my third eye optics. Love so real, no hater can stop it. So rare, so out the norm. I'm wet and warm as a storm in the tropics. I'm shy, but also the opposite. For him, I twerk, I drop it. Like a schoolgirl, I'm nervous. When he flirts, I blush and change the topic. Feels like sunlight in June. Hear his name, I lightly swoon. Pardon me, I'm so mushy. Got a Cancer sun and a Pisces moon. I need to meet him soon. For him in my heart, I'll make room. He'll be my protector, sip my nectar, dive into my pink lagoon. You'll know this verse is all about him. He'll learn the rhyme and just sing the song. I feel just like Sinatra. They've been in love. No, wait, that was Neil Long. I feel just like Sinatra. In love with basketball and brown sugar. I pray, I cry, I try to make my heart forget, but it wouldn't, just couldn't. We'll have such a harmonic resonance, and my intuition speaks. That's all I need for the evidence. One day I'll meet a man who understands how to get my body, my soul, and my wet. I'm just here trying to figure out why we can't be together. Guess it ain't time yet. Let me know. The mirror to my soul. When you play. Just for me, I need a daughter amongst these men, y'all mean? Who recognizes a dynamic queen and knows my soul's not a welcome mat. My heart is not no trampoline. No man shall stand between this beautiful co-chain love supreme. Cause we live in our dreams. It's love unheard, unseen. You make me queen. Giving me heartgasms, soulgasms, orgasms, raw passion, climaxing, back spasms. My feminine is masculine. A physical celebration and sexual appreciation and spiritual integration and effortless consummation. See, now I know my value, cause I had to learn just what my smile's worth. All the pain and the lessons and the tears and the past that hurt worse than showers. And all the outbursts I'm done with. Me and my twin flame make oneness. Something real, so divine, so wondrous. No drama like the VH1. I'll nourish his mind, give him peace, help him unwind, honor him, treat him right, every single night, rock his mind. Not looking to the world to fill no void, not lonely, I'm not in pain, but I've been drained. Met a lot of soulmates, but where's my twin flame? Where is he? Let me know, deliver to my soul. Twin flame, twin flame, twin flame. Just for me, for me, twin flame, twin flame, twin
Peace to the east, the west, the north, and the south. This is Flurban coming to you today for another show, Aquarius Rising Ninth Gate. Now listen, family, you're getting a treat because there was a glitch in the matrix, and this is supposed to be an exclusive otherwise. So if you're on this feed right now, you're getting a treat right now because we're going into twin flames. How do you recognize your twin flames? This was supposed to be a Cypher and Patreon exclusive, but all you fantastic folk have come on. So you've jumped on the timeline where you get to watch the show just easy and breezy. So I'm going to leave this on for now. You're going to join me, and then I'm going to pull it off afterwards. So enjoying the show. This is Aquarius Rising Ninth Gate. We're getting into twinning. If you don't know who that artist is, she's absolutely amazing. I love that song. It's such a twinny song. Her actual, wait, hold on. Hold on. It has her handle here. Hold on. She's Ty Phoenix. Ty Phoenix. She's off. Wait, is it Ty Phoenix that actually posted this? It's Ty Phoenix. She's off the chain. I love the song Twin Flame. And if you want to telepathically get in sync with your twin flame, you just play this song, you jam, you wear your magnificent colors, allow your pheromones to marinate, telepathically contact your twin flame, meditate on it, clean your yoni space, smudge it in, smudge it out. So check on in. So again, this is Aquarius Rising, the Ninth Gate. This is our Thursday special show. We're getting into how to recognize your twin flame. So I suggest you get comfortable. This is a nice long show. We have call-ins. So for those who are calling tonight, even though Blog Talk is private, a lot of people called in already because they know our show. So if you're going to call in, you have a question, call in early. Or if you want to share your twin flame story, we'd really appreciate it. You can call the number at 515-605-9881. It's really nostalgic here. We've got rain. It's so humid and hot. It's clothing optional here in Florida. Some of you all hot and blackouts. If you have a blackout right now, that's when most twin flames could kind of, why don't you just warm up the room a little bit and bring some brightness to the scenario. It's a beautiful conversation for tonight. The other number that you can call in from the other timeline is 646-787-8311. Now, if you're calling in, thank you, Jennifer, beautiful Jennifer, put the numbers down there. Call in early, push the number 1 if you have a question or a share so that I take you guys in order. I like to stay in order. So if you call in right now, push the number 1, just stay in queue until we get into Q&A. So we're getting in the conversation on Twin Flame. So I'm doing this with the bigger collective on YouTube. So you know how we get down. My sound is muffled. Do you guys not hear me? I hope you do, because I usually do it on this piece of tech, but it might be a little off. So I hope you can hear me okay. It is raining outside. I don't know if that would have effect on how you hear me. You hear me okay? Okay. So also make sure, so we're going to kick in the ley lines. You know how we do. We're going to interconnect our ley lines, bring a beautiful protective field that also allows us to interconnect with each other on the ley lines. So Let's shout out your area. You know how you do. Where's your location? Where's your geographical location, you earthlings? A whole bunch of earthlings on this planet. Kick out where you come from, where you coming, where you showing up from. Orlando, right in my neck of the woods. Hey, love, peace, peace, Orlando. New York is in the house. What up, Kay? Kay's in the house. Mississippi, D. Griffin's in the house. MIA, Miami is in the house. Massachusetts in the house. UK's in the house. Brooklyn, Hartford, Connecticut's showing up. Arizona representing. D-Town representing. Tennessee, New Jersey. What's good? You've got Christchurch, New Zealand in the house. What's going on? Stockholm representing. Philly, Queens, Massachusetts coming in, Virgin Islands, St. Lucia, my family's in the house, Chicago's in the house, California, Hollister, California's in the house, Tampa representing my neck of the woods, Saudi Arabia, beautiful and hot and, well, at least until the evening, Texas in the house, DC's in the house, Toronto's in the house, Nebraska's in the house, Louisiana's in the house, Uptown, what up, Scott? Minnesota's in the house, what up? Warrior Empire's in the house. Coming in. Where you coming from? Mars, Venus? Which planet you shooting out from? Chattanooga, Tennessee's in the house. Missouri's in the house. Baltimore's in the house. Buffalo's in the house. Upstate New York, Texas State representing. What's good, Pearly? Wisconsin representing. Maryland, Bettsville representing. Hey, Rob. New Mexico's in the house. New Orleans, Nolens. Did I say it right? New Jersey representing. Alton, Illinois representing. Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Brrr. A little chilly in that neck of the woods. Tennessee's in the house. Toronto, Canada's in the house. Canadians showing up. Trinidad and Tobago. We're Trinidad. I'm waiting for carnival time. Indiana's in the house. South Kakaleki's in the house. South Carolina, Springs Hill, Florida. One in my neck of the woods. Hey, Donna. North Carolina's representing. Texas. Louisiana representing. Kentucky in the house. Twin Cities, Minnesota's in the house. Cali, West Coast coming in. Minnesota, Trinidad representing again. What's good? Jersey's in the house. North Kakalaki, hey, Celeste. We've got Buffalo, New York, representing. Upstate New York, Brooklyn. What up, Purple Goddess? ATL finally coming in. ATL aliens. Atlanteans. Trinidad represent. What's going on with Trinidad? Trinidad, you up and popping tonight. Washington's in the house. UK's represent. Oregon's represent. Bettsville, Maryland. St. Louis, Minnesota's in the house. Phoenix, Arizona's representing. New Jersey's coming strong tonight. What up, Michigan? Michigan is not too far behind. Vero Beach, Florida. I've got all my Floridians in the house. You guys, it's raining by you too? Cleveland, Ohio's in the house. ATL representing still. Colorado, finally Colorado. Hey, Linda. Wichita is in the house. Maryland, Leonard Town, Maryland is in the house. Hey there. Cali, West Coast, come on in. New Jersey's in the house. Tobago. So we had Trinidad, now we got Tobago. Tobago represent. What's good, my Caribbean people? Tasmania. Hey, Hayden. Tampa's representing. Cali's representing. Tobago. Again, I'm feeling Tobago in the house. Sydney coming in down under. Detroit, D-Town representing. Flint, Michigan's in the house. Was good. Don't forget about Mexico, Mexicano, Tuxedo's in the house. Clearwater, Florida, my Floridians in the house. We're all in the house because it's raining. Canada's in the house. Tobago's still in the house. Tobago. You just representing big time. Representing. So we've got Atlanta, ATL's in the house. So we've got a host of people. Poconos coming up. We're coming up in PA. What up, Teresa? Phoenix, Arizona representing. What's good? So we've got a host of wonderful people. We're interconnecting on the ley lines. We'll give a shout out to other people going up. Jamaica, big up to Jamaica, big up to DR, big up to Haitian, Sapase, big up to our Virgin Island family, St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. Kitts, big up to our family in, of course, the French Antilles, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia's in the neck of the woods. Big up to my Francophonic people. Big up to our family over in Turks and Caicos. Big up to our family in Bermuda and Bahamas. Big up to our family in Barbuda. Big up to our family, of course, coming out in Cuba. Cuba's kind of hot right now. Cuba, you may not be able to see me because they got you censured, but you guys are red hot right now with Russia right there supporting you. Please be nice to us because we're part of the positive collective. Anyway, Barbados representing the house. Let me behave myself. Puerto Rico. Where's Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico. Hey, Puerto Rico. Where's my Boniquas? Boniquas in the house representing always. let's go back to the east. Starting with the East Coast, we already got Jersey, New York. We already got upstate New York. We got, of course, Buffalo, New York. We got Albany, New York. We've got on the Ontario side of Canada, ATL, represent. What up, Georgia? Let's go a little bit. We never forget Delaware. Delaware is always in the house. Delaware is like in that cusp between Pennsylvania and New York, kind of, sort of. Jersey is a Jersey and Pennsylvania. Right there, UK represent. What's good? We've got our family in Connecticut. We got our family in Danbury, Connecticut. We got our family in Stamford, Connecticut. We've got our family in Hartford, Connecticut. Connecticut's always representing. Chi-Town finally in the house. Hey, Brampton. Brampton's in the house. Chi-Town finally representing. Hey, Love and Light. Big up to our family coming a little further west. Big up to our family in Arizona, Texas, Colorado. Big up to our family in Utah, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Big up to our family in Chicago, the Windy City. Big up to our family Danbury. You know Danbury, Connecticut. I had a little dive in Danbury, Connecticut back in the days. Big up to Africa. We always make it to Africa. Remember, we saved the best for last. Some other continent, we always come to y'all. Let's shoot over, since Africa wants to be shout out. Let's go to Africa. Big up to our family in New Guinea. Big up to our family in Somalia. Big up to our family in Tanzania. Big up to our family in the Ivory Coast. Big up to our family in, of course, in Sudan. Big up to our family in Ghana. Ghana in the house. Big up to our Kenya family. Big up to our family from Nairobi, and from Kenya. Big up to our family from Kentucky's in the house. Midwest is in the house. Big up to our family, and of course, Morocco. You know, I got to get it all in there. Morocco's in the house. Big up to you, Treya. That's right. Thank you. That's what I was trying to figure out. Yes. Big up to Maryland's in the house. Big up to our family in, of course, Saudi Arabia. Big up to our family over in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. We got a lot, you know, my homies are always going back in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Big up to our homegirls who like to blow spots in Beverly Hills. Now they're in Dubai. Big up to our homies in Kuwait. Big up to our family. We have a beautiful family in Jordan. Big up to our family in Jordan. Big up to our family in Pakistan. Big up to our family in Palestine. Big up to our family. We have a huge family in Israel, especially in Tel Aviv. Big up to our family in Israel. Tel Aviv. Did I get it in there? Yeah, I said Tel Aviv. Perfect. Tel Aviv is always represented in the house. Big up to our family in India. Big up to our family in, of course, Nigeria. Thank you. Nigeria is always represented in the house. Appreciate it. El Paso, Texas is represented. I'm throwing in some other places in there. Big up to our family going into parts of Vietnam, Guam. Big up to our family in Thailand. Big up to our family in China. Big up to our family in North Korea. Where are you in this mix of the change? Huh? Big up to North Korea in the house. Big up to Korea in the house. Big up to our family in Taiwan. Big up to our family in Japan. Big up to our family, let's go a little further north. Big up to our family in Turkey. Big up to our family in Greece. Big up to our family in Italy and Spain. Big up to our family in France. Big up to our family in the UK. Big up to our family in Ireland, Scotland. Big up to our family in the Netherlands, Holland, Sweden, Norway, where else? Switzerland. Big up to our Norwegian family. Big up to our family. Where else? Hawaii. How come I didn't get Chesapeake Bay's in the house? Virginia Beach, where have you been? I've been missing you, Virginia. Virginia's in the house. I've been missing you. Big up to our Austria. Thank you. Austria's in the house. Big up to our family from Hungary. We have like 2 people from Hungary. Interesting enough. They actually live in England, but they're from Hungary. So big up to our family from Hungary. Big up to our family from Hawaii. A big aloha, not mahalo. Aloha. We usually have Morris on here. Big up to our family in Hawaii, the Big Island, Kauai, in Maui, and also in the Big Island of Oahu, which is also known as Honolulu. Big up to our family there. Big up to our family in Costa Rica. I forgot to get to Central America. Big up to our family in Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico, El Salvador. Big up to our family in Nicaragua, who let the beast free back in our country, and he's back in South America. Big up to our family in South America, in Peru, in Colombia, in Venezuela, in Brazil. Big up to our Brazilian family. I'll be there soon, Brazil. Yay! Big up to our family in Paraguay, Uruguay, and big up to all of our family all over this beautiful planet. We are all Earthlings having a beautiful Earthling experience, and it's about to get even better. Big up to our galactic family, of course. We always give big up to the Andromedans who host my presence here on planet Earth at this time. Big up to the Aquarians. Big up to the Lyrians. You Lyrians, who are contacting you? Lyrians are showing up front stage. What's up with the Lyrians? You cat beings, what are you up to? I'm seeing more Lyrian posts than I've ever seen. Round. Big up to the Lyrians and the Syrians. Big up to the Pelagians. Big up to the Zeta Reticulans who are working now along the other Greys. Big up to the other interterrestrials, some of the more, more positive reptilians that are working from the inner Earth realms. Big up to the Blue Avians. I heard some, there was a little gossip on the back lay. I can't really bring it up. There's a little gossip about the Blue Rays, the Blue Avians. Big up to the Blue Avians, who usually don't really show up other than to just watch. It's interesting they're showing up in, conversations. Big up to the Anunnaki, the Nega line. The Nega line, I'm meeting a lot of your people, Nega line. I see the Serpent Queen has seated herself really well on this planet. All the snakes are coming out, and they aren't slithering. They're coming out strong. So big up to all my Nega Serpent. And big up to our other ET collectives, along with the Mermaid, the Mer family, Marine family, who's representing the elementals. Big up to those connected to the elemental realm, the fairies and gnomes, the pixies, and the Mer family, okay, and the Nomos. All right, so family, we're all interconnected. We've all checked in on the different ley lines. We're getting in on the conversation of twin flames. If you didn't hear the song, you should listen to it again. Now, it's interesting because I was talking, twin flames has been, ever since I've been back from Brazil and before, you've seen me kind of accept my twinning status and see what is going on with my twin, and I find it very interesting because it's made me more open and receptive to even having conversations about it because I'm feeling very twinny. And what I know is very important is a lot of people say, well, how do I know that's my twin? Or how do I know that isn't my twin? Oh, the song is Twin Flame, hold on. I don't think this is her, but by Ty Phoenix. Ty Phoenix, T-I-Y-E, Phoenix. That's Twin Flame. It's a beautiful song. I love listening to it. She's got that. If you want a twin, just listen to that song. You feel all kinds of twinning. Twinning. So, ever since I've been in the frequency of twinning, I've just been realizing that I was receptive to twin. And as many of you know, I've started my journey of twinning with one person that I personally think is my twin. But, it was interesting. A girlfriend of mine brought up my ex, who has very twinny qualities with me. And, what I had to say, which was wonderful. I love that she brought it up because she saw a bond with my ex that's very twinny-like. It's very twinny. And, as I've always stated, a lot of times what happens with your twin flames, you get pre-amps to your twin flame. You get people who come in your life who you choose because they have something in common with your twin. It's not that they are not special, but there's something about them subconsciously that you recognize as very twin-like. So you'll pick someone who has a quality that is your future twin or the twin that you previously met. So a lot of times you may meet people who have twinny kind of qualities, but they may not be your twin flame, but they're preparing you for the actual meeting of the twin flame. And if you watch my videos, I've also talked about, I think I've come up with a time frame of the convergence, the divine convergence that's coming on Earth. And I personally, if you've never got a chance to watch Dark Crystal. It's a wonderful, I know it's an animation. A lot of people are like, that's corny, Fleur. It isn't corny. Everything are gems. They have to tell you everything before they show it to you. So a lot of times they put a lot of the truth in cinema, thinking that people will think it's artificial, it isn't real, and it's fictional. So most people will overlook the possibility of all the signals and symbolism utilized. They talk about the Great Conjunction of the planets when, if you listen to Fifth Dimension, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter is aligned with Mars, and then the peace on the planet, this is life, this is the more dawning of the age of Aquarius. Okay, it says dawning. It doesn't say it's the age of Aquarius. It says dawning, which is a very pinnacle word. And I had to listen to it again. I was like, they're not saying it's the age of Aquarius because the age of Aquarius takes a while. It takes a while to clear up the old regime and to basically, you can't build on an already established regime. So a lot of times what happens is you have to basically collapse the old system, and all of the system is collapsing. The pedophiles are being revealed. Anything that you lied about is coming out of the closet. Things are popping out the galactic closet. Everything that has to come out to be ordered to be, basically broken down old systems and to build up a new system coming with a new age, okay? The age of Aquarius. We're exiting the age of Pisces, which is all about belief. Now we're going into I know. That's why everything has to be revealed. So we're in the dawning of the age of Aquarius. And when I've talked about the conjunction that's coming up, I found it very interesting that in 2020, oddly enough, we have that same conjunction again. And in the movie, I realized that in the movie Dark Crystal, which is now being remade again on Netflix, go figure, a movie that I've been talking about for years right at the precipice of a conjunction, talks about a great conjunction. And if you ever watch the movie, you see these beings that are totally different. You see the mystics that are very calm, earth-like, they're living in the forest, and then you see the Skeksis, very materialistic, very narcissistic and sociopathic, but they're meant to be one. They were splintered. And when they were splintered, they split into two extreme opposites. But at the time of the conjunction, there is a convergence when the two have to reunite, and the splintering of the actual crystal is the catalyst to this happening. So I found it very interesting that you have this dark and light element and a conjunction. Now, when I thought about that, I was also thinking about the Mayans and how the Mayans were talking about this great, evolutionary time when we would shift into different paradigms. And it was interesting because we always thought that 2012 was, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And we know for us in the awake community, we already are thank you, Warrior. Yes, if you come in the door, please put a like on the video. It just makes me appreciate and feel appreciated. Thank you, I appreciate it. When we're talking about the Mayan calendar, we know that the Gregorian calendar is an artificial calendar created to keep us from knowing really the time frame when the shift will happen. I know now that they purposefully created the Gregorian calendar to leave us confused and lead us astray to where the true time really lies, because time is about to collapse because we have the convergence of timelines. But anyway, so interesting enough, there's a little bit of a debate of when the 2012 actually begins, but according to the Ethiopian calendar, which I think is very interesting, we are about to hit 2012 in September of 2019. Now, someone else said that the Ethiopian calendar said it's going to be in September of 2020. That's up for discussion, but regardless, it's very interesting that we're about to be at the precipice of 2012, and everything seems like it's chaotically collapsing, almost like there's a buildup. Now, why is this related to twin flames? Because as I started to realize, there was this feeling inside, almost like a clock going off, like an alarm. If you ever watched like an alarm going off in a Dark Crystal, like when the mystics just knew it was time to leave their home in the forest and make the trek over to their twins. So I found it very interesting because I had to break down the movie a little bit more, and I found it interesting that it was the mystics that did the trek to go to their dark halves. Listen to this. When you look at the Dark Crystal, it is the Skeksis are living in the castles, being diabolical, sucking up life force out of the beings living on Earth, the planet. They're just chaotic. They aren't leaving their dark castles for anything. Matter of fact, they're trying to stay as long as they can without that convergence because they want to keep engaging in that way. But it seems really interesting that the mystics are the ones who make the trek. So it's interesting that most of the light workers, most of us who accept and have cleansed ourselves, who have accepted an aspect of our shadow, who have actually done the work, who are service to others, we're actually the ones doing all the work towards the twins. It isn't necessarily the darker aspect of the twins coming to jump on our doorsteps, like, hey, let me in, you sweet guy, so you could just remind me of how terrible I am, of all the sinful things I like to do, how many sexual depraved things I enjoy. They are knocking at the mystic's door. The mystic is going to do the trek towards them for the ultimate convergence. So it makes kind of sense to me that I would see more of those in the more enlightened frequency doing the natural progression towards merging with their shadows, their reflections, their other halves. Okay, so I wanted to break down some of the things that I found were very interesting in the aspect of twinning. qualities and maybe tools that we can utilize in order to basically identify our twin flames. Because a lot of times the biggest question is that my twin, even with me twinning now to what I know to be, I'm accepting at this point. I'm accepting, and this is big up to Fidgy Girl, because she kind of, we know each other and we always chat it up. And she said, I think Kirk may be your twin flame. And I didn't combat it. Why? Is because there is always a point, there's a pinnacle point right before you're twinning fully, where there is kind of like a balancing on a beam. So it wouldn't be odd if that was, but what I do accept now, based on what I've learned, is the twinning actually allows, during the convergence, is when the true twin, your true twin comes out. So I accept that what is happening now with the twinning that I'm feeling and I'm allowing, whether it be the gentleman that I know to be my twin or Kirk, I accept that whoever's behind magic door number 11 is going to show up during the convergence, whether it's him or the other one. It could be either, but I personally think it's the one I know. It's just Fidgy Girl kind of put that in my head. But I kind of felt like it could be relative. What I'm allowing to understand is that if, in fact, my twin is there, they will show up during the convergence. So there won't be any mistaking. But there are tall tale signs of who's your twin. Things that you can utilize as tools to be able to kind of maneuver through the concept of accepting if this is your twin or not. So let's go over a few of them, and then we'll take phone calls as well, because I don't want to just share my journey. I definitely want to allow for others to share their journey. Oh, a lot of people are calling in. Okay, so let me just say again, I see people calling in, they have their hands up. If you're calling in, call in early, because I think a lot of times, a lot of people call like the last moment before we're off air. We have a bonus hour until 12 midnight in Eastern time. But if you're calling in, call in now. So the number is 515-605-9881. I see people in here, but I know it's going to happen right before that on air goes off. Many people will call in. And then the other number is 646-787-8311. And remember to push the number 1. Okay, so I'm going to go over what I know are some great identifying markers of twins, just based on me twinning. Now, I find what's interesting with my twin is, well, let's go over the markers and then we'll go into that, because I think a lot of, and this is good if you want to take notes, because this would help you and assist you with kind of being able to field through the multitude of you beautiful, because many of you are so lovely. You probably have many suitors. But to be able to solidify in your mind if this is your twin, a lot of you feel like a lot of you are in the twinning zone. Not the twilight zone, the twinning zone. We're going to get into the twinning zone next week. But a lot of you are in the twinning zone, meaning that you're in the zone of twinning. So it doesn't matter if the person is your twin or not, you're already in the receptive, that zone that brings in twin. So whether it's the preamp of the twin, basically cultivating you in order to accept the twin, or be able to cultivate you so that you are now in balance or frequency of the twin, it doesn't matter. It's still the twinning zone, okay? Not the twilight zone, the twinning zone. Okay, so let's get into the first thing. And this is the number one thing that I knew that was really crazy for me, and I felt it right away. And this is one of the first things I know for a fact that it's associated with twinning. It's a sensation of timelessness. Like when you meet them, it's like time doesn't exist. Like it's almost like, where did the time go? Like you're just in that zone where you're unrealizing of time. It's almost like time just stops, or almost like it's not enough time. So it's a timeless sense. Like there isn't any time. Like you're in almost like in a magical twinning bubble, the twinning zone, okay? The twinning zone, you're just unaware of time. That's one of the first things I definitely noticed with twinning. Definitely, that's one of the things that came up right away. The second is a very I see you, girl. Hey, love, hey. A very eerie feeling of recognition, like you're destined to be together. So a lot of times when you meet your twin, it's almost like, oh my God, I know you. Like I know you. Like how do I know him? Like how do I know him? Like you're trying to recollect, even if you don't know them or you knew them before. It's like, where do I know you from? Like you just recognize them. It's almost like an inner knowing, and it bugs you out. I shouldn't use that word. Big up to all the insectilians on the feed. It bugs you out because you literally feel like you know this person, you're not quite sure why you think you know them, and sometimes it's not even rational. It's like, I know you. Where do I know you? Who's your mom? Who's your dad? Did you go to school with me? Do I know your sister? Is it your brother I know? I don't know any of these people. Like, how do I know? Oh, you grew up in New York? Maybe we bumped in. It's that like recognition. Like right away, you feel like you recognize them. And this is where the recognition comes from. It comes from lifetimes of you having them part of you. Like sometimes it's, to my knowledge, and I have to say this because I'm not a twinning mastermind, I'm not a twinning expert, but what I notice is that even when we travel throughout different lifetimes, of incarnations in this earth plane, we do run into our twin every once in a blue, and it's usually quite tragic. Like it's something like you meet them at the end of their life or at the beginning stages of their life, but it's never long term because twins are supposed to go through separate spiritual experiences to build together a spiritual consensus and evolutionary process that they're supposed to come and bring back together holistically. So rarely do you meet them. Usually you meet your soulmates in other incarnations where you have really strong connections with your soulmates, or karmic mates where you've done something and you need to resolve those karmic debts. So if you were the narcissist in a past life, you're going to experience the narcissism from the more of the receptive, more of the victim's point of view, as opposed to the person who is engaging in the victimizing. So we go through these ebbs and flows with karmic mates and with soulmates. But once in a blue, you may come across your soulmate, but you have an inner knowing of them always existing. It's almost like you're always looking for them. You're always feeling like, what am I looking for? Like I always felt like I was looking for someone. Like, why am I looking for someone? Like I have somebody in my life. Like, why am I always feeling like there's somebody that I'm missing? Like somebody that I don't know, and I just know that there's somebody there that I'm waiting for. It's that kind of feeling. So the recognition comes from you knowing, an inner knowing that this is someone that is not even someone, just something that is beyond your comprehension. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's important. Now, another one is a strong magnetic connection. Now, some people get this mistaken because sexual chemistry is amazing. One of the things that I love, and I only mate with someone who I have heightened chemistry with, and we talk about, seeing some of my videos when I talk about pheromone harmonics, when you're very pheromonically in sync with someone, your pheromones drive their loins, and chemistry-wise, you are a suitable match for them. So it almost feels like you're in lust, or it's just a need to mate with them. It's an intrinsic attraction. Now, the difference with the twin flame is the magnetic attraction isn't just sexual. It isn't just based on their physical paralysis or their lack of. It's something deeper. So when you meet your twin, it's something so deep that you know in your mind's eye, like, I would like this person no matter what. Like, I like this person if they look different than what they do. It's just it's a magnetism that supersedes the physicality. So it's so deep that you feel it inside of you, like not inside in a sexual way, but deep in your soul. You feel it. It's something that you can literally say to yourself, I would like this person no matter where they were. You could say it to yourself and you would truly mean it. Okay? So that's the intense magnetic attraction to one another. One of the things that's the most important, and this is definitely how you know that this is a twin. Like this, now, this is almost like this is one of, I should put it in as number one, or the kicker, but this is definitely how you know someone is in twinning zone, okay? Mirroring strengths and weaknesses in order to balance out each other. This we talk about all the time. Now this, I am certain, for certain, this is mirroring strengths and weaknesses to balance one another. So what you have as your strength, your other twin will have as a weakness, and vice versa. Their weakness, their strengths will be ultimately your weaknesses. So when you guys get together, the very things that you require, they have. The very things that they require, you have. It's so, like, it's like the last pieces of the puzzle. You ever get a puzzle and like, where are those pieces? Oh my God. Do you ever get excited when you do? I did puzzles as a child. You know, my mom, because of my mom, you know, that's why I was a geek. I did a lot of puzzles. And at the end, if I couldn't find puzzles and I found the puzzle pieces, whether they fell on the floor, I found them a week later, oh my God, I would get excited, like, oh my God, I got the piece. And once you put that piece in, it's like, yes, that's it. That's what a twin flame is. That's exactly what it is. So it's that intrinsically in that way. That's the way you feel. Like they complete you. When you guys are together, you're completed. There isn't anything needed more. If you were like, you're so nature based, but maybe you're more aloof. You're not really into people. You're not really social and people oriented, and you kind of like people, but you don't feel as confident. Your twin will be people oriented, very social. He will be able to make you feel comfortable, even when you didn't feel comfortable being that way. He fits the mold where the uncomfortability or that part of you that wasn't quantified in that frequency, he has, and he'll allow you to be comfortable in that, because when he shows up with it, it will just naturally feel like, wow, I love going out with him because I feel so confident in myself. Just being with him makes me feel like I'm social. So his characteristics of being, master in whatever he is will make you feel like you've mastered yourself just by being in his presence, okay, his very presence, or vice versa with a female. So it's beautiful, and that's what I found is definitely part of the twinning zone. That I know for certain is one of the definitive qualities of twinning, is the mirroring of strengths and weaknesses. It's definitely something, if you have that and you're mirroring each other, it's definitely a good sign this is a twin flame connection. Okay, so 5, shares values, desires, and dreams. A lot of times when you meet your twins, now it won't be in the way that we superficially would deem this. They mirror. So the things that they desire in life are almost to the same degree, but just in a different way of you. So they will desire something, or they have a dream of doing something. So maybe they dream of, okay, so listen, you meet your twin and you're all about like living out in the wilderness in nature, and that's what you're designed to do, and you love to live someplace where you can build your own lumber house and so on. Your twin flame will be the guy who may not have thought about that per se, but he always wanted to build a lumberjack house. It was like his dream as a child to go somewhere and build a lumberjack house. So even though the dream is more extensive or more expansive on one level of one twin, the other will be definitely more specific, or sometimes the same way, but it will be in the same goals and desires. So if you're like a chef and you love to eat, or you like to eat and you love food, you love how ingredients show up, and you're the guy and you love eating and you love going to new restaurants, you like different ingredients, your mom is a really cook, you love food and you love the whole idea, you like to see people cook. Your twin flame as a female will show up like a master chef. She'll just be the master of all cooking. Like, she knows how to shape shift raw food. She knows how to make things make things from $1.15. She's that one. And every time you taste her food, you're like, that's a goddess. That's what I'm talking about. It's same goals and desires and dreams. It shows up in the twin having the same. It may not be in the same specific way, but it all fits in one wonderful, jambalaya. So I think that's very important, sharing values, desires, and dreams. 6, they know you better than anyone in the world. This is one of the things I find that twinning is really, really notably one of the notable qualities. Knowing you almost to the degree that there isn't anyone who knows you as much. So even if you meet them, it's almost like they know what you like or know what your dislikes are. They know the things that would bother you. They know the things would be things that you want. They automatically have a knowing, an all-knowing of you in all ways. That's unnatural. This is not somebody you grew up with. This is not somebody who knew everything about you. They happen to know more things about you than even your family. Even your sister or your brother who grew up in the same bedroom with you, sleeping under the same covers or in the same room, they know you better than them. So that's also I always take it as a very notable twinning quality, because that would allow you to more vet out a twin. Because to me, that's not a quality that everybody would have. You can meet a guy and he wants to know you and he's getting to know you, but he doesn't really know you well. It's like you meet your twin and they automatically know you like orchids. Or they see a book and they just know it would be a book that you love. And you're like, wait, I love this author. How did you know I like this author? I don't even talk about this author. In college, 20 years ago, I used to read books from this author, and nobody really talks about it. That's what I'm talking about. They just know you intrinsically more, and I think that's a wonderful very specific quality to look for with the twin, because that is something that is more supernatural. It wouldn't be in alignment of someone like a stranger meeting you and being able to do that. So that's a wonderful quality to really look into. Okay? 7, regardless of how many, now this is something that I find to be very, very true, and this allows me to know if you're in the twinning zone. You could have, regardless of how many conflicts and fights and arguments you have, you always forgive each other fully. Like, it's like there isn't any game changer. It's like there isn't any there isn't anything that would be so, it doesn't matter what it is. It's almost like anything you guys fight about or you have a conflict about or disagreement about, you would always forgive it. It would be forgivable. It doesn't matter what it is. And this is why I'm saying it's very unique. It doesn't matter if they're sleeping with other people, because you just understand them. You're like, I understand why he likes so many. I know he loves me, but I know why he likes all these women, because he likes variety. He likes variety, and it isn't really personable. It's just something that he's gained in not having his mother around. He always feels like he didn't get enough affection from his mother, so he always feels like he has to hoard women, or he hasn't gotten enough, and I understand that. I don't like it, and I don't agree with it, but I forgive him because I understand where it's coming from. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying it's just an inner knowing that this is coming from another place that has nothing to do with you, and you love them beyond time and space. So whatever they do in the physicality, whatever their mistakes are in this flesh, in this incarnation, you can oversee. It's not overseeing it. You understand it, and you can forgive them, and you will forgive them, and them you. So that's very common with twin flames. It's not that you're a lay down. It's not you're a punk. It's not that. It's just having a knowledge of who this person is. And I use that physicality with other people just as an example, because that would let you know that if you normally are not okay with people playing around with multiple people, and you would cut off a woman, if she was sleeping with multiple men and you found out that she was a thottery and she was sleeping with a multitude of men behind your back, you would normally cut her off just from thinking that she was a type. But this particular sea star, something about her, it's like you understand that she's not doing it for any reason other than whatever karmic issue she has, and you look past that because you love her beyond this. So you kind of, you're not overlooking it, you're just understanding it from another perspective that allows you to forgive her from a very compassionate point of view. That to me, I think, is absolutely on point with twin flames. They get through fusses, they'll have fights, but for some reason they can always come back to point 0, to 0 point, and recollect themselves. You know what? I love you. I love you for everything that you are. It's the ultimately loving somebody unconditionally. And that goes into one of the other ones that goes into twin flames, but that notably is very important. Number 8, you have a multi-connection with them. This is what I found to be very interesting. And the multi-connection with them is like they're your best friend. They're like a teacher to you. Like they teach you things about yourself and them. So they're like a teacher too. So they're like your best friend and teacher. Sometimes they're like a lover. They're your lover too. So they're your teacher, your lover, your companion, your friend. They're like sometimes your counselor. Sometimes they're your coach. They are multi-layered with you. There isn't one position they can't play. It's like being a mother. It's like being a mother of cubs, right? You can cook a meal. You could be a cook. You could be a nurse. You could be a referee. You could be a driver. You could be a housekeeper. It's the same with twin flames. Twin flames are multi-layered in that the way that their relationships exist are multifaceted. It isn't just in one arena that you get along or that you feel camaraderie. It's multi-layered. It's every way that, okay, so we're sitting down, okay, I respect when he coaches me, okay, I need this, okay, oh, tell me how to do that, okay, perfect. Okay, and then we go in the bedroom and we make masterful love, and he's my lover now. He isn't my coach anymore. I'm the master in this realm, so I dominate him in the bedroom, but it's everything that he desires, and he allows me to do so. But then when we get in the morning and he's not feeling well and his tummy hurts, I know that he's not feeling well, and I go and make him some tea, and I go find out what's going on. And if he's not able to go to the doctor, I call the doctor and just make a phone call and say, he's feeling this way. And then I'll make sure that I put a warm pack on his feet if his feet need to be elevated. It's that kind of multitasking kind of relationship. It's a multifaceted relationship where you are multi-layered in how you engage with one another. Not one supersedes the other. It's pretty balanced in that way. Okay? One of the awesome things that all of you know, and this is how we know the twinning phenomenon. This is number 9. This is one of the ways that you all know that it's a twin, and this is how the twinning phenomenon came in, even our perspective, is that the synchronicities. The synchronicities were amazing. With twinning comes synchronicities off the chart, meaning that when you guys met, 11-11-11 was on both of your watches. Or when you guys met, all of a sudden, you walked into a place. Your favorite song from your high school dance was playing when he turned and looked at you and said hi. Whenever he comes by, he's wearing the colors of your school, your school alma mater. All of a sudden, he has the same name as your favorite best friend who passed away or something like that. So you see the synchronicities off the chart, off the chain. So the synchronicities are what is the universe's confirmation. This is better than any other confirmation because the synchronicities are off the chain. Oh, your favorite numbers are 555. Dude comes in with a jersey with 55 on the back and a 5 on the front. That's synchronistic. Or you had this car that was your favorite car that you always wanted, but you never bought because you bought a more practical car, and he drives up for the first date driving the car, the very car that was your favorite car that you wanted this whole time. These are synchronicities that the universe is gifting you with. It's very necessary to watch the signs and signals. This is the universal's gift of letting you know that this is twin flame, frequency. So I love that one. You both drive each other. Now, the next one was interesting, and this can be up for grabs as far as this, because I think some twin flames do this better than others, but I always find it's a general consensus. Number 10 is basically both twin flames drive each other to higher planes of consciousness or better social habits. So what this means is like when you get with your twin, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Divine Other. I'm so glad I came across your channel. I came across your channel when you had to handle your business to New York by thwarting that attempted ambush. I've been subscribed ever since. Oh, thank you. When I was acting in my out of sorts, I failed that test when I was confronted with the draconian from heaven. Thank you for overlooking that and being able to see me even in my not so finest moment. I appreciate that. Thank you, C-Star. Thank you. I appreciate that. So driving each other to a higher point of reference. So, you get with your twin and you know that maybe, they're challenged, like maybe they're a smoker. So your twin, and you aren't a smoker, like you're a holistic person, and you know that smoking, you want them to live a better life. It's not for you. You could tolerate it because people smoke, but you want better for them. So you always give them ways to not just kick it, but ways that they can cope with, living a better lifestyle. Maybe you introduce them to a new restaurant where there's a lot of veggies and fruits, and you get them used to drinking a smoothie every day, a really good veggie smoothie to allow for them to have more fiber in their system. Maybe it's that that they've always wanted to be on Broadway, and they are really talented, and you look at open calls in the Village Voice, big up to the New Yorkers at the Village Voice, and you bring in some resume, some openings for open casting calls in theater, in the underground theater, and you bring it to your mate because you want them to succeed in the things that they dream about. Vice versa, your mate comes in and they know that you, maybe you need more motivation to exercise. So they themselves are in shape, but they want you to feel happy and good about yourself. They love you, but maybe they set about the time in the evening or time after work together, and you guys go and exercise together, and they help you do weights and sets, and they help to motivate you to do better. That's a twinning phenomenon. A lot of mates do that. You get that with karmic mates do that, and also soulmates do that. But that's very notable with twin flames. Twin flames will motivate you to be a better person spiritually, socially, and physically. And they will do things in alignment because they see an aspect of themselves in you. So in that itself, they're motivated by the very nature of loving themselves or liking, wanting a part of themselves to succeed. They'll motivate you to do better and go beyond the scope of limitations, okay? So, and last but not least, which I just mentioned, which is the most, and I stop at 11 because I feel like 11, 11, 11 is always the point one. So I stop at 11, and this is where I say, you learn values of empathy, compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love with your twin flame. Your twin flame makes you learn values of empathy, compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love, because that's what being whole is. And that is the 11. They shape shift you and allow you to love in a way that supersedes any limitation. Like, this is the unconditional love you see in movies. When you go to watch Highlander, when he loved his wife, he was an immortal. I don't know if you guys ever saw the old time Highlander. Good movie. You could tell what time frame I lived. But in Highlander, he was aging. He loved this one woman beyond time. He stayed with her and she aged, and it didn't matter because he was going to be with her regardless of anything. And he loved her and stayed with her till her last breath. And this is the things that we do see in movies that I think is very truthful about, but I think it's only designated to a twin flame. It's building empathy with them, compassion. And if you notice, even in the very challenges of twin flames, the challenges will make you build empathy with them. So you start to empathize with your twin. Like, okay, they had a struggle in their childhood, and they struggle maybe with certain limitations. I'm so empathetic towards him because of that. Or you become more compassionate with them because they build compassion with you. It's like this person is really dedicated to his family and children, and to children on the street or to the homeless. And I love that he's that way, and it builds my level of compassion, because the relationship will put you in a spectrum where that is something that's being built and cultivated by the very nature of you guys being together. And forgiveness, we talked about forgiveness. Him having flaws, her having flaws, sometimes would supersede what most people would tolerate, or even you would tolerate with a karmic relationship or a soulmate, and you being tolerant and so forgiving and so loving and so unconditionally compassionate with them that there isn't anything that could break you apart other than physical expiration, and even that wouldn't even, change any love or dedication or affection with them. So that is the 11. Those are the 11. I hope that was helpful. The 11 tall tail signs that you are twinning. I think it's very beautiful to actually go through these. If you get a chance to write them down, or, again, this will be pulled off, those from the other spectrums of the video. Write these down, replay this until I pull it off, because this is going to go to the private group. But just take down some of these notes and really see if, vet out if these are your twins that you're engaging with. And again, I personally know that you get a couple of test run twins previous to them coming to get you ready and prepared for twinning. Twinning isn't just like an overnight sensation. It is a scenario of vibrations and frequencies that cultivates you in order to make you prepped. It's almost like a queen being prepped for her marriage to a king, or, a princess being prepared for her role as a future queen. There needs to be a certain level of preparation and growth that is necessary to be able to have that advanced form of bonding and mating that's beyond any physical or any matrix standards. That's why they discourage it. That's why it is so difficult at the beginning. But I personally think during the conjunctions it will be a lot easier. So we're going to go into phone calls. I hope if you have any questions or anything, start calling in the phone lines. I want to hear other people's twinning experiences. Again, the number is 515-605-9881. Again, if you're calling on the other phone line, it's 646-787-8311. If you have a call and you have a question, press the number 1, and we're going to start getting the conversation of twinning. So let me get everything prepared for twinning. Twinning. I love that song. Doesn't it make you feel amazing when you hear that song? Okay. My mouth is getting dry already. All right. All right, so we're going to take our first phone call. Make sure, for anyone calling in, just press the number 1 and I'll take, there's a lot of people in the queue, so, we have 47 minutes left on live, and then we have a bonus hour after this. So if you're calling in, you have until 47 minutes to call in, and after that, it's a bonus hour, but I can only take who's on the line already. Okay, so let's get into the conversation. I'm going to take our first phone call. The number is 704-4770. You're on the line with Flirt Room. Peace, family.
Peace, fam. How you doing? This is Aisha.
Hey, Aisha. Hey, sister. What's going on?
Hey, how you been?
I'm good.
Everything is everything.
Everything's everything. What's going on with twinning? Are you meeting twins? Are you in twin vibration? Are you open for twins? What's going on?
Okay, now, even I've been listening to you and some others speak on twin flames, and I'm a little bit confused about it.
Okay.
But from what I see, from what I gather, I met the twin flame. We had a terrible coming together. It was crazy, violent, everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like he picks up on me. You know what I'm saying? When I'm just thinking about random stuff or sex, basically. When I'm thinking about I need that particular one, he always, kind of finds me or at least texts me. But the time frame between us is 12 years. Now, this is funny because while you were talking, I was going over my life and I noticed that I have 12-year things, like within every 12 years or at least something lasts for 12 years.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like me and my mother lived in our building in New York 12 years. That was the longest we were nomads. So we were stable there for 12 years. I'm at my job. This is my 12th year. On 707 was my 12th year. I'm ready to move on. This guy, and 12 years apart. Wow. Right.
So you have cycles.
So,
you go in cycles. You literally live in cycles.
It looks like it. I mean, I've noticed just recently that I got 3 sets of 12 in my life that are significant. Me and my mother, because we was all over the place. We was in Rhode Island, we was in the Bronx, we was wherever. My mom was moving around. And then 12 years over here at this job. This month, maybe 12 years. This guy who I think could be the twin flame. 12-year difference between us.
Ooh, that's 12.
I have a 12-year difference with the Sagittarius. So I have the Sagittarius that had been around. I think it's 12 years between he and I as well.
Interesting.
So when it comes to twin flames, my actual question is, are we here for romance, or are we here to assist in some kind of changing that goes on here in the world that they need us? Because, we're perverted. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of relationships are perverted with sex, and they were just supposed to be two powers that came together, you know what I'm saying, or romance or whatever. I think neither one of us can stay with anybody. I think it's all relative. Everything is everything. Like you said it. Everything is everything. I think, yes, concepts we've perverted and we've over dramatized connections with people in a very unnatural way. So I understand what you say, but we're here on earth to have experiences, to expand us past our level of consciousness and to expand us spiritually. And part of that is relationships. That's probably the most pinnacle part. So when you're engaged... I'm with it. Yeah. When you're engaged in relationships is when you grow the most. If you notice, all your relationships, look at your relationships. See how far it evolved you quicker than maybe even a friendship. Romantic relationships, mating with people, tends to propel you and cultivate you almost like it's a catalyst to basically shooting you to another realms of consciousness. And the worse it is, it tends to... information. Yes. Yeah, so I think it's all relative. I think it is very necessary. I think that's why we're here, in order to see aspects of ourselves from every angle and point of view. So I think it's all part of it. I think the sexualizing is the matrix, and the 666 demonic Satanist and Luciferian perversion by sexualizing everything. They sexualize a mother nursing her child in her breast.
breasts are sexualized. I mean, we have a lot of sick beings.
But there's so many ways to look at that kind of stuff because everything meshes together to create something else. It's just that as we're humans now, you know what I'm saying, and we have these moral standards and we have regulations and we have things in religion, that's how stuff gets perverted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In some other spaces, a lot of the stuff that's perverse and taboo or not accepted is the only way that they could meld together to do something else. You know what I'm saying? Or to do something new or what have you. And that goes for wherever that is needed. But here, we got everything going on here for real.
We're living in a zoo.
Right.
This is
oh God.
We're living in a zoo, and we have a lot of beings on this planet. We don't even realize to the degree if we have different beings of different frequencies, different species of beings living here, different spiritual wars going on every layer of the timelines. I mean, that's why it seems so overwhelming and it seems almost insidious. That's why it's hard to really cultivate a relationship because you're battling so many different layers of, your existence here. It's like, how am I going to love somebody when I'm fighting demons in the realms? Archons are in my ear. You know what I mean? The food is fighting. The food is trying to kill you. I mean, that's how people see. But that's all part of the masterful plan. If you can overcome multi-layered of adversity and find everlasting unconditional love within self and then connect it to another being, you've mastered it. You basically become one of the masters.
Well, that's going to be rough because me and this guy who I'm thinking probably is the twin flame, we had a very violent ending of our relationship. It was almost the death, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can't see me cooperating, but I still deal with him here and there, but where he's in Florida, I'm here.
Okay.
In North Carolina. I'm sorry, I reside in North Carolina and everything.
Yeah.
Peace, family. But, so I really don't know what's going to do with that. I've seen him in a lot of visions and dreams and stuff, and ever since I met him, he's been popping up in the astral plane. He's been popping up, in different ways, and I was just like, is that the twin flame or what? Then my son is a connection. Like, this nigga, we come to Earth together more than once.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know this. I know we came here together more than once.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is our energy supposed to do something here? Because that's how I always question the twin flame thing. Is it a romantic thing? Or is it two powers coming together to make a difference like only they can? Or both? Or sometimes, either or? I'm thinking maybe sometimes it's either they're going to be a love relationship or they're just going to be two powers that make a difference in the world some kind of way.
It's a combination platter. You ever order a dish from the Chinese place and they'll give you like this side, that side, this side? It's not just one. It's everything. It's multi-layered. And yes, when twins come together, they actually shift the paradigm. They actually ripple through timelines and they heal aspects, almost like the dark crystal. They heal aspects of frequency that has been splintered by dark beings. So yes, that's what they're intended to do as far as energetically. But it is a combination. It's romantic. It's friendship. It's ultimately maybe just it's a kind of relationship. Like I said, that's
like an ultimate love.
Yeah, it's multi-layered.
All angles.
It's like that's your friend, that's your homie. You going down together. Like if there's a battle, it's you and him. You know what I mean? And then when it's love, it's like it's only him. It's like he's the only one who I feel in sync with. I can't envision my life without him. And when I'm without him, I feel incomplete. Like I feel like I can live that way, but I won't want to. So it's a combination pattern. And I think a lot of us know and had mates like that, but I think the twin is just more of an exaggerated version of that. It's that to the 20,000 power, where you can't live without this person, but so you prefer to be on your own if you can't be with that person because there isn't anything that matches it. And that's what I feel with the twin. It's almost like you can get in relationships. Yeah, this dude is cool. Yeah, he's kind of cute. Yeah, he's all right. But every time you're with him, it's like it's a comparison to the one that he's not perfect, but he's right for me. You know what I mean? Everything about him is right for me. I know we're tumultuous, but in his presence, I feel whole. That's a twin.
Yeah, that might be him, because it's like he's me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We feel like tribes people. Like, we're from the same people. He's from Turks and Caicos. I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, we do everything, like, to two hands, right and left. But his energy is a little more reserved, and it's very powerful, but it's kind of reserved. And I'm more open, and I feel like that same kind of love for a lot of people. Like, if me and you was homies, nigga, we're going to do everything, and we're going to make sure, and if it's a battle, I'm fighting with you, I'll protect you like you me, all of that. And that's just a lot of people that I know. But this particular person, we had such we had such terrible ups and downs. Our chart shows awesome moments of bliss, and then the most terrible moments, and we lived through that. Like, we've actually done that. We did the perfect bliss, and then we did complete turmoil.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was only for a spell in our lives. Now we're separate. I moved from where we were living because my son, you know, the issues in the city, I moved a little bit out the skirt, and he walked past my house. He was living around the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
so it was like,
that's right. You told me that. Yes, you were telling me that. Yes, I thought that was interesting. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but it's most...
But again, he tried to kill me. He tried to kill me. That's why I was like, nah, I can't allow myself to trust him, because he went all the way. Like, I would never do that to him. So, why was he so passionate? I didn't do anything to him.
Yeah, I think that's when it's imbalanced. And I say, as balanced as we are, our twins will show up. So whatever imbalances you had, maybe maybe his passion was over the top, but maybe yours was super, super reserved in that passionate point. You know what I mean? So it's like extreme based on the twins balancing out each other. So you get extremes like that. So I'm not condoning him trying to hurt you. You know, I'm not about that.
No.
He needs to keep his mind, and he needs to keep his temper to himself. He has to learn to cultivate himself and to master himself, where his emotions are able to be expressed in a more healthy and more rational way. I think sometimes, like I said, a lot of times with twins, the forgiveness, like even you talking about him, even though he did that to you, you still see him as a twin. You see what I was talking about, the number 7, regardless of the conflict, you still forgive them. Do you see that? That's extreme. He tried to hurt you, but you forgive him because you can still conceive him as your twin. That's what I'm talking about, a twin. It's almost like they do the most outlandish things that are unforgivable for anyone else. But it's that person. It's something about them that puts you past their physical or whatever experiences you're having in this earth plane. You see them for something else. So their earth-like behavior, even if it's reprehensible to the 20th degree, like what he did, it's still forgivable because you understand them.
I just can't trust him. Like, I wouldn't want to be tied up in a relationship again with him, because, like you were saying, like, your twin might have, like, this insatiable appetite, and you know that's their way, but you forgive it because that's how they are. But it's like,
you don't have to tolerate
if I show any signs of problem with...
You don't have to tolerate it, though. Remember, twins all have to balance themselves out, because that's why we can't be with them until everything's balanced out. Yeah. They have it, but he'll balance that out.
Okay.
Either being hurt in other relationships, being incarcerated, being humbled will make him learn those other 11 qualities, learn empathy, learn compassion, learn forgiveness, you know what I mean? So he has to be humbled. And that's why you're not together, because he hasn't been humbled.
He's been humbled.
Oh, yeah.
He's been humbled, but he's young. And he was at jail. He had been in situations. We have a connecting thing that is between us. Like I always say, I always meet people who have had some kind of sexual assault or some kind of sexual issue that has happened with them, and we become like family. He's one of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Where I love them like they're me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I would hate to have to kill him, because I won't allow him to go that far again. It would be he would have to be cleared. Now, he's a Capricorn sun. So I'm imagining now that Saturn is going to be working with us a little bit more closely. Perhaps that will assist him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I'm open to everything with life, period, because I need to be on track. But, like, when it comes to pairing up with this person, he's always random, like he wants to just fly off and do something. Yeah. I just can't do that.
Yeah, well,
like, he wants me to just come, let's just travel, let's do this. Okay, how are we going to make it? We're going to just be doing our jobs here and Airbnb in it? You know what I'm saying?
Do the nation out.
I mean, that's a thought, but I like stability. You know what I'm saying? I think stuff out first. So
he's on a whim and you like stability.
But I just wanted to share that. We went through all the ups and downs in the space of about 2 years. Yeah. 3 years, really. Because when I left and moved, so this is what's going on. We still communicate. We have those moments where we only want each other, but then the conversation changes, and I'm like, yeah, stay over there where you at. I'm good. Peace. I'll see you in the next life or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But he's the only one that I know in this life that could be the person. And there's a 12-year difference between us. I'm older.
You got the code. That's your code. That's the synchronicity. You have that 12-year cycle, and it's showing up with a 12, which is also synchronistic to your cycles. So there's something to that that's connected to your twin. Now, mind you, like I said, even though our twins show up in balance or we show up in balance, before the convergence, all debts have to be paid. So I personally, this is just a thought, and I'm just me vetting everything out. And we won't see until around March of this year. But to my knowledge, all the twins will be allowed will have the convergence happen where we will feel the need to go towards our twin. It's like almost like a clock will go off, and the twins will be able to come together. So it means whatever's in their life now is being resolved. Anything that needs to be remedied and debts paid are being done so now and during that convergence. And I hope this is the case because I'm excited about it. During that convergence is when twins are allowed to come together. And it may not be for everyone, but I think for most it will be a plausibility. So I'm excited, and I hope that he kind of gets himself together, and if he is your twin, that he balances himself in a way that would be more cohesive and more balanced with your calm spirit. You know what I mean?
And myself as well. Because I don't like to do whatever you tell me to do, and I don't want to just change what I'm doing because of you. And that was a big problem between us. It was like I couldn't be, bullied or the authority over me. I feel like we're working together, we're working a plan. And if it doesn't make sense, I'm not doing it. So I think that was the biggest issue we had. And he became violent when you didn't cooperate with him. But it was always cockamamie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was always like, well, that don't make no sense.
Yeah, I think, he has to meet you on the same floor. You going up to the 12th floor, he's got to meet you on the same floor. That's it. That's just what it is. So if you take that, push that button on the 12th floor, you're going upstairs. If he's there, it's all gravy. If he isn't, it is what it is.
All right. Got it. Thank you.
All right, Mama. I love talking to you. Happy twinning, and let me know. I'm sending you.
So well. Happy twinning to you. Peace and love. All right.
I'm sending you frequencies of twinning, C-Star. I'll speak to you later. Peace.
All right. Peace.
I need like a pixie. I need like those pixie. You ever see this? I need like a magic wand. I need like a magic wand, like for twinning. Anytime somebody twins, I'll be like, bing! Like, what was it? What's her name? What's that little pixie's name? My little one's, Tinkerbell. I need a Tinkerbell wand. Every time somebody twins, twinning. I know, I'm so corny. Anyway, I'm eating my cherries. Let's go to our next phone call. We're taking our next caller. We got 681-1794. You're on the line with Flirt Room. Peace, family. 681-1794.
Peace.
Peace, C-Star.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Peace. So, I'm very confused.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, C-Star. Speak up a little bit.
I can't hear you.
Speak up a little bit more, a little louder.
If I had my twinning, I think it already had passed a number of years ago.
Okay.
And if it was the twinning, then we had grown. I'm the one who changed, and I matured, and I had grown out of it. And so I found that this person was more like an energy vampire, that they were sucking too much of my energy out. Okay. And so I broke free, if that was what it was. What makes you think they were your twins? This person knew me inside out. This person was able to finish my thoughts. They were able to finish my sentences. They were able to teach me a lot. There was a big difference in our age. The sexual part really didn't work out, but this person seemed to have known me inside out. This person was able to tell me what I was going to be doing, and they were able to give me a lot of guidance in life. But when it came to, I went and I took a course. I learned a little bit more about how to deal with people, and I found that this person was very, very stuck where they were. If that was a twin, I don't know. I'm learning about this twinning thing very new, so I haven't figured out the difference between a soulmate, a karmic mate, and a twin.
It sounds like that sounds more like a soulmate or maybe a karmic mate, because twinning is, though they have some of the same qualities, the intimate knowing is just traveling through lifetimes with you. Soulmates do that, and sometimes karmic mates do that. But the physical, why I know it's most likely not a twin, not to say sex is everything, but physically, when you engage with them physically, it's just so, even if it's not masterful or anything like that, it's a fielding together. The bodies morphing together that kind of makes you feel beyond time and space. So it may have been a soulmate. How did you feel when you were with him?
Well, we had spent years of talking on the phone for hours and hours, but when I matured a little bit after taking a course, I had realized that I had spent an excessive amount of time in the relationship where I was not able to, I mean, now I'm even more introverted than I was before, but I at least kind of let life pass me by in a certain way by engaging with this person for hours on the phone. I mean, it's great as far as this person was beyond the best friend. I mean, I could tell this person everything from A to Z, and I could tell him, and this person was pretty much like staying at home because they went through an accident, and I was able to tell him everything. But at a certain point when I matured, I realized that this person was not able to look for me in the same way, and I realized that what was going on with them and their family, I started to all of a sudden look at things a little differently, and I realized that this person was much more of a needy person. This person was more of like an energy vampire, that they were looking to absorb a lot of other people's energy, and they were looking to kind of have people who would either be like a knight in shining armor to come out and rescue them, but they couldn't do anything for themselves. And I realized that I just need to break out of it. And I got the signs, that the signs finally came to me, that I realized this is now meant to be. And I felt that I've given everything that I could have given all the way to the end. And then I said, that's it. I've done my part. I can't go on with it.
Okay. How do you feel?
And I do miss that, because this really was, when you want to talk about more than the best friend, this is somebody that knew me, like when my dog passed away. This person knew the exact time that I was mourning that the dog passed away. They knew when I was crying. They knew when I was grieving.
Aww. You're very, very, very connected to you. You both were very connected telepathically, too, for them to have that kind of knowing, that inner knowing of you. It could very,
But that's the thing that's the thing that's so interesting, is that they knew more about me, but I didn't know that much about them. If you really want to, and this is why I wanted to share this story, is that if whatever this was, whether it was a karmic or a soulmate or a twin, I was not able to sense anything about this person. They were able to sense things about me.
Well, energy vampires tend to have that clever way of registering other people's energy very well, without dispersing of their own energy or revealing it to others. He sounds, just off the top of my head, he sounds like maybe like a soulmate or a karmic mate, where he was meant to show you something about yourself, or maybe level you up so that maybe this is something, or someone that showed you a level of something that needed to be remedied or seen. But he doesn't sound, even the vibration of you talking on, he doesn't have a twinning quality. We can remember, our soulmates are amazing. We have soulmates that feel like twins. Soulmates are wonderful beings that we've traveled through many incarnations with, as spouses, as mothers. We are so connected to our soulmates. So soulmates are very close to us. They can have a very close bond with you, likened to that of a twin flame. The only difference with the twin flame is heightened in the reflection back. So the qualities about you that you don't have, they have, like to the 10th power, and vice versa. A lot of that reflective type of, that mirroring that happens with twin flames. And also, they level you up. You know what I mean? Twins will level you up. They will encourage you to be better in certain things. They'll be very supportive in them. They'll motivate you to do things greater and grander than you are, even if to the smallest degree. It's very twinny. So it sounds like
let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a different types of, if you want to call it counseling over the phone for a lot of different people. And I've come across probably about maybe 7 different people over the last number of years that really seem to have been a little bit different, that they really seem to kind of like, I don't know how to say it, that they kind of like, they fit directly, like perfectly into the group, and they seem to click with me. But we've never met. We've never had if we ever had a conversation, it was nothing that went beyond a period of a week. But these people seem to have been on a very strong sexual level, and these people have known me, but it's not something that I've been able to meet with anyone. So my question to you is, have I passed that phase that I'm not able to be finding myself my twin?
No, there isn't any expiration day of twinning. There isn't any. And there isn't any day. So twinning can happen from when you're very little and you can remember, and twinning can happen when you're 105. You see stories like that. So twinning doesn't have an expiration date. Everyone has the opportunity to twin, as long as the twin is still here on Earth, as far as that. But even when they're not on Earth, you still have a connection with them in the etheric realm. So a lot of times, even if they're not here and they passed or they transcended, or they've left this Earth plane in their avatar, you can connect with them in the ether. So twinning doesn't expire. You always have your twin. Your twin is always going to be interconnected, because age and time doesn't really exist. That's just a matrix. That's just a matrix special. So yes, you can twin at any time.
So it just may not happen in this. It may not happen in this particular life.
It may.
That is a possibility.
Well, this is the lifetime that it would. Twinning happens at the end and beginning of cycles. So if you have a twin that's on this Earth plane that is still coexisting now in physical form, this is the opportunity. This lifetime, in this incarnation, when the end and beginning of the cycle is occurring, this is when twinning happens. So long as they're here in the physical realm.
If this is either the beginning or the end, then this either may have happened before or it may happen in the future.
And you may be twinning on another layer of time and space. So you could be twinning in another timeline. This is another thing. We haven't even talked about the multidimensional aspects of twinning. Sometimes you feel twinning like you're doing it already, because the alternate version of you in another timeline is actually twinning. So they may preface your twinning here in this incarnation. So you may have a twin of you, a version of you that's already twinned, and you feel it reverberate through the timelines, and that makes it a little easier to find your twin, or for your twin to find you in this timeline. So that's another we didn't get into the multiverse. That gets confusing for a lot of people. But yes, you can twin, and if you feel a connection to someone beyond this spectrum of light, meaning that when you talk to them, when you experience with them, and it doesn't matter age, because I'm noticing twins can have a span of a couple ages. Like sometimes they're a little younger, sometimes older. It just depends on the vibration, because twins come in when they come in. So I wouldn't close the door.
But when you find them, it's like time stands still. It's like you need to know each other from beginning to end.
Yes, time stops. When you meet your twin, it's like, oh my God, like how many minutes have passed? How many hours? Oh my God, like you just realize that time, it's almost like you're paying attention to time is gone. You're just in awe, almost like in a little bubble when you're with them.
Well, I had that with this person that I mentioned also. Time would go by. We couldn't believe how 9 p.m.
Is he still coexisting?
We couldn't believe how 9 p.m. became like midnight.
Did you say he's still living on Earth? Is he still alive?
This is still alive, as far as I know, but I'm no interest in checking and call in to find out.
Okay. So, I mean,
because this person right now in their life is, I've grown and I've matured. So this person, if I had to call in, one, there would be a little bit of anger or animosity on my end, and I'm not interested in quizzing somebody and asking them questions about why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that. I've learned to move on. I'm not even interested to know what's going on in this person, what's going on with them now, and if I had to speak with them, I'm not at a point where I'm interested to hear what's going on in your life with your family. I'm not interested in hearing the drama and the runaway.
Well, that's what makes me think he's not your twin, because you would automatically have an intrinsic interest in his life. You would just want to, whether it was beneficial to you or not, mutually beneficial. So that lets me think it's not your twin, because if your disinterest in them makes them presumably seem like a karmic mate, someone you learned a lesson from, and there isn't any reason to return to the scene of the crime.
Okay. Well, at least I thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I'm interested in hearing what other people have to say. So let me step back and hear what the rest of the family has to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you calling in. Peace.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to take our next caller. Our next caller is 518-0692. You're on the line with Flurber. Peace, family.
Peace.
Peace, sister. Who am I talking to?
My name is Aisha. I'm actually the ancient. I'll refer to myself as that. We spoke on IG Live a few days ago.
Yes, I recognize your voice. Yes, I do. Hi, love. This is a twin flame story. You're going to share, right? I hope you're going to share.
Yes.
Okay, so everyone, this is Aisha from IG. She's from Cypher as well. Big up to Cypher crew who's in the house. So she actually has a twinning story, and I want you to start from the beginning because I think the YouTube family hasn't heard this, but us on IG had a chance to witness and hear your journey, your twin flame journey. So go ahead, C-Star.
All right. You know how, like, on Snap, maybe you don't know, but for those who do know, on Snapchat, if you, like, save pictures, you'll get a notification when if a year or 2 years has gone by. It's called Memories, and you can go in and see your saved posts. And a few days ago, I saw the picture I took of my outfit when I was going to go meet him, and I was thrown back into that energy of that specific time, and man, I was feeling it. It was a lot.
You're in
so
that twinning
a few days ago is when we first met in person, and from the moment our eyes met, I knew, without the words, like, I didn't have the words to express what I was feeling, but I knew from that point on, nothing would be the same. A few months passed, and then I found out about the Twin Flame label, and I found a Luna's channel, and then yours a few months later. And yeah. All right, so where to start? Everything you said about the telltale signs, all of those are facts. While I was listening to you, I was like, wow, literally all of this is true. You made a really great list, and I think it's helpful if nobody knows about what's going on or anything, like, refer to the list. That's how you're going to know for sure, if this person is your twin or not. Especially the mirroring. Like, if nothing else, they mirror you in a way that nobody else can. We spoke about this on IG Live, but yeah. If nothing else, that's a surefire way to tell. This person, my twin,
I can't speak on like who he is as a person now, but when we first met, it was really lit, for lack of other words. Like, he felt like me in another body. And he's 5 years older than me, by the way. I'm 20, he's 25. My birthday is March 19th. His is January 29th. I thought our birthday dates were really odd. Not odd, but just like something to take note of. Mm-hmm. And now, anytime I see the number 29, I instantly think of him.
Just hold on for 1 second. I agree with you. I want to make that point. Anytime you see that number, it triggers you, doesn't it? It triggers you to think of him.
Yes.
Yes.
Every time.
That was one of the, I didn't add it to the list, but that's one of the things that I forgot. I didn't want to add it because I didn't feel like it was something to totally put focus on, but triggering. Like, if you look at your twin's name, like I look at my twin's name, I get triggered every time. Like, anytime I see the name with their initials, it triggers me. So seeing numbers of their age triggers you, or the date of their birth triggers you. It triggers you to like think about them and pull you back in. So I always find that's very interesting that twins tend to do that. Other people do it, but I think twins more. Go ahead, C-Star, I'm sorry.
No, please. Yes, anytime I see somebody with his name, I'm like, damn, him, following me around.
Yes.
I've made butterflies in my environment like my sign for him, and blackbirds. I don't know why, this is what I feel called to. Oh my God!
Yes.
Whoa! I just remembered, this is a few months ago, back in spring. There was a gray cat in my yard, and I knew that this cat was not a cat like an animal. Like, there was a spirit in that cat watching me. Like,
a familiar, yes, a familiar.
I don't know why. I felt like it was him sending yes, a familiar, exactly. I felt it was him sending that cat to check up on me.
Ooh.
And I was like, wow, that's really crazy.
Twin trolling.
I've never seen this before.
We got terms here. We got twin zone. We got twin trolling. Okay, twin trolling. Okay, we're going to have all these new terms we're going to use. Twin trolling. Okay. Good.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. But a lot of, since I've met him, like, a lot of the metaphysical and spiritual stuff will pop off around me. Like, I just have the knowing of things in my environment now, and I just know it's him sending it to me or checking up on me or whatever. Like, my telepathy with him, I do have a telepathic connection with him, of course, but what's more on and popping is like stuff in my physical environment that I know he has a hand in.
Yes.
So anyway, the story, I'll make it shorter now since I like actually explained it a few days ago, but we met, it was awesome. He would always tell me that he saw himself in me, like I was a younger version of him, and he matched me in every way. It was perfect. Like, when we first met, it was like pure bliss. There's no other way to explain it. I was so happy just to have met somebody with that strong of a connection. And like you said, once you meet them, nobody else will compare.
No,
like,
zero.
You're not going to fit anywhere else. And it kind of sucks if you're not with your twin, but everything is with purpose, right?
Yeah.
So then after a few months, we stopped talking. I'm going to keep the long story short, but he cut me off, and then a month later, he reached out to me and said he had a girlfriend and he was so happy with his life, and I was happy for him, no hard feelings or anything. But then I found out that his girlfriend is dabbling in some dark magic. Like, she's just purely demonic. There's no other way to explain her. And I wanted to talk more about her role. I wanted to explain this on IG, but I was like too excited. And I've been thinking about it for the past few days, like when I was going to get the chance to express this. So I'm a Pisces, right?
Yeah.
His girlfriend is a Virgo. Those are total opposites.
Yeah.
The opposite signs, sister signs, all right?
Yeah.
She's also 2 years younger than him. And after we spoke on IG, a few days passed, and I felt the feeling to check their social media. And this is something that I haven't done in months and months and months and months. So I checked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why they got freaking married in Jamaica in March.
What?
And she posted a picture. Dude, I was like, get out. And Fleur, you have no idea.
Wow.
When I was looking at pictures, I zoomed in and everything. He looks like he's trapped. Like she's not holding him against his will, like, you know, everything's free will choice, blah, 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 yada, yada. But I look at him and I just see that he is so lost. Even the person that was marrying them was looking like, are y'all serious right now?
Oh, wow.
Like, it was really, it was really wild for me to see that. And all I could do was laugh because I was like, that's really crazy that whoever she is, like, outside of her human form, whatever is really going on there, really thinks that marriage is going to prevent us from fulfilling our mission. You know what I mean?
Woo!
Like, none of that is going to stop.
Twins
anything.
find each other.
Even if they have children or whatever. Like,
twins find each
what
other.
Was that?
Twins always find each other. We're about to do a conjunction. Remember, just because they did something, and we talked about this to everyone, you know, she gave a longer story, but there is, the young lady is most likely doing some sort of, we consider to be, remember if you heard the last video, she's an Agent Smith. She's a twin flame Smith that was set to separate twins. And, you know, a lot of times they utilize people to do crafts, magic, black magic, to do things in order to keep twins apart. But it won't work. If a twin's supposed to be together, twins will be together regardless. And he probably has karmic debt. He has karmic debt he has to resolve. So it isn't anything, you know, he has to resolve it with that marriage.
Yeah, that's what I had to tell myself that too. I was like, I can't even feel upset at all. Like, this is something he has to work out. Literally has to work out.
Absolutely.
I can't stop it. And I wouldn't have even known if I didn't check, you know?
It's true.
Like, me finding out doesn't change anything.
Twin flames always reunite. And
it's not up to me.
No, the universe will make it plausible and possible, but all debts have to be paid. So whatever, and we talked about longer about the things that he struggles with. There's, you know, maybe she has more money. We talked about that on IG, the fact that maybe that was also a motivation that he was getting with her for a certain status quo. So, you know, that has a lot to do with, he has to resolve his feelings of insecurity about self. So he wouldn't do it with someone who's more balanced like you. He's going to do it in a relationship where he has to learn from somebody who is in a position where he feels has something he wants. There's going to be some remedying karmically with that.
Absolutely. Also, the caption that she used for the marriage post. Oh, and get this. They got married on March 11th. Like, again with the 11th.
Wow. Okay.
And his birthday is 29. I saw a comment on
11.
YouTube. Adds up to 11. Like,
11.
Y'all ain't slick. I see through you. But
shout out to the messages.
I appreciate. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Go ahead,
my God! There's a helicopter above my house right now.
Oh, talking about twin flames. Twin flame. You can't stop the conversation. Can't stop, won't stop. We're going to discuss twin flames until we all twin flaming.
Her caption, I appreciate all he did for me. And I swear, as soon as I read that, it instantly made me think of, like, blood sacrifices and, like, crazy, like, out of this world nonsense. Like, I don't know why it made me think of that. I never took him as the type of person to participate in stuff like that, but it just, when I read it and I look at it, it just doesn't, it makes me feel sick. Like, every time I think about them, it makes me feel ill, sick to my stomach.
Because you ultimately want a twin. Your twin is not fielding with you right now. That's the thing. That's the hard part about twinning and being apart from your twin, because you always feel a sense of like something's wrong. Like, especially you met him already and you've already fielded together and you've already accepted his role with you. It's almost like you're feeling you know, like they're your medicine, they're your remedy. There's an ingredient that's missing that you know what the ingredients is, but it is almost impossible to get unless the ingredients comes to you. So it's kind of like that. And, you know, I think a lot of twins right now are going through the tail end of their karmic residue that needs to be resolved. So all you have to do is just chill out, because if Fleur Brune is correct, we don't know. We won't know until March. We won't know. But if I'm correct in this convergence, it would make it a lot easier for twins to twin. So if that happens, all debts will be paid, and those who are in the frequency and in the higher realms of twinning will meet up. All twins will resolve themselves. Resolve whatever.
90 seconds.
Oh, wait, hold on, C-Star. For anyone who's calling in, you have only 90 seconds to call in. After this, I have to close the phone lines, but anybody who's in the phone line, they can also ask a question or share. So if you're calling in, I suggest you do it now. The number is 515-605-9881. Again, 515-605-9881. If you have a question or you're going to share. Also, for those calling on the other line, it's 646-787-8311. You have 60 seconds to call in. Push the number 1 if you have a question or a share. Okay, sorry, C-Star. Go ahead.
No problem. Last thing I wanted to mention, which was a really strange experience for me, on my birthday this year, I remember I woke up from a dream about him, but it was not like a regular dream. I've never experienced a dream like this. So in the dream, I could tell that I was like, from the point of view of my eyes, as if I was in my body, but I knew I wasn't. And I was like, what I like to do with him, and like people that I'm intimate with anyway, I just want to be like right next to you, on top of you. I just like being face to face with people, literally.
10 seconds.
And I was in this dream, whatever it was. We were that close. His face was right next to me, and the background, it was like pink clouds, like as if we were in the sky during the sunset.
Yeah.
And he turned over to look at me, and I just saw it in his eyes, and I woke up and I was crying because I was mad, because that's not where I was. Like, I woke up alone in my bed while he's away with somebody else doing what he has to do, and I felt like such a deep ache, and man, it hurt, but it also lets me know, like, it's not just me that feels that.
I'm sorry, sister. I'm sorry.
Actually, a final... What? Don't be sorry. Everything happens for a reason. Like, this is not...
Indeed.
This isn't something that I didn't sign up for.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not anything to feel bad about.
It's beautiful.
It's upsetting, sure, but, like, I'll be fine. I'm okay.
Listen to this. A twin forgiving another twin for getting married. Listen to this. This is what I'm talking about, the forgiving. It's like, okay, he did it. It is what it is. I still feel the same. That's what is number 7. That's number 7, just forgiving them, just knowing why they're doing what they're doing and accepting it and looking past that. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's very mature of you as well.
He also got her name tattooed on his neck in Chinese.
Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, he's truly in the mix. She's
like, she has him, think about that. She has him branded, and now they're, like, married. Like, she's trying to pull all of the stuff to try and keep him locked. It's not working.
Well,
it's not working because I still feel the way I feel about him. And that's how he feels about me.
Well, can't stop, won't stop. You know, can't stop, won't stop. You know, if you trying to halt twins from being together, it will just bring quicker resolvement for them to end up coming together. And like I said, in a lot of twins that are married now, I'm starting to see that a lot of twins are in marriages that are going to make them grow, giving them growth spurts, because the things that they struggled with, they picked marriages in order to quickly evolve and get that karmic debt out the way. So, you know, I always say to those who have twin flames that are married, you just have to sit back and be in your own self-love and your own self-worth and love them from a distance, a safe distance, but also realize twins will always come back together, always, whether in this life or another, they will. I think it's beautiful.
It's something, that's what it is. Final thing I have to say,
Yeah.
recall how I mentioned that I was taking a class last year, and she was teaching, like, spiritual stuff, like how to tone and work your gifts. And one day, we did a past life regression. I didn't get to tell you the full story of that.
Ooh.
I remember in a past life, I was in London or Paris. I couldn't really tell which, but I'm feeling more towards Paris, right?
Yeah.
And I walk out of the bakery, and as soon as I do, I see a man, and I instantly know it's my twin, right?
Aww.
We did not look like how we look right now. It was totally different.
Yeah.
But I instantly knew it was him. Later, in the regression, the person who was running the regression, he went through like the whole life process. So this is after that version of me died. I'm in this black space. It's all totally black, but it's not a void. Like there is a floor. It looks kind of like water-y. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm looking straight ahead, and I see this portal open up in like it was like a door shaped, but with a rounded top.
Yeah.
And just like in the dream that I had where the sky was pink, the inside of that was pink, and out walks this being. It was an energetic being, and I identified it as a he because this was my twin, but in energy form was made out of this beautiful pink energy. It was like sparkly. He had these beautiful butterfly wings, but it was more like his aura.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him. Oh, I actually wrote it down. What notebook did I use? I was talking to him, and he told me to keep going, and that I was doing a good job, and that he was proud of me, and that we would be together soon.
Aww.
And I remember just feeling such admiration and such like unconditional love for him as I saw him in that form. And I felt so close to him in that moment. There's nothing like it. Like I actually, this is a wrong notebook, but that was crazy for me to see. For me to see him like that and know that it was him and that it was real was
seeing them past their earthly forms in other forms. That's how you know it's a twin too. It's soulmates do that as well, but twins, it's seeing them in almost like their essence and recognizing their essence. And that's why I thought it's very interesting, even watching the Dark Crystal. The essence of your twin matters. It's not the physical. The physical will come any which way, but it wouldn't matter what physical they come in. You'll still recognize them like you did. They could be anyone, anything. It would still be your twin. So it's an infinite knowing, and it's absolutely beautiful. I love that you share this. You know, even when you shared it on IG, because we got more in depth. You know, you could feel it. You could feel the twinning, and also other twins can kind of recognize other twins. And I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm really excited because you know, I remember when I first moved to Florida. I can tell a twinning story from another point, and I forgot about this couple. I remember I moved to Florida. Oh, this is like in 2011, going to 2012. So I remember moving here, and you know, I just got here fresh, and I remember meeting a couple. And I met them through other people that I met here. And my God, I was like, oh, it was, now I know, you know, hindsight is 20/20. I know they're twins, but then I didn't know what it was, but I knew that I admired it so much that I was in awe around them. Like, that was the infinite way that any couple, like, you just knew, like, she gave natural birth. He was like really everything that she wasn't, he was, but he was so candid with her and never illuminated anything that was lesser because he filled it with himself. It was so deep. And I remember sitting in awe of them, and I told them, I said, I admire you as a couple. I said, you are the epitome of what all people, like what we strive to achieve. I told them that. And even to this day, I see them on like Instagram. I'm like, my gosh, they're still illuminating like the first day I saw them, but it triggered me. And I really think that triggering kind of precipitated this twinning to occur right now. I think they did it. By me, that's what I'm saying, twins infect other twins. So one couple twinning will reverberate not only just in the other timelines, but in their general environment. By me coming in close proximity to what I deem to be a plausible twin, it also initiated in me
battery.
my battery's low. The possibility, he said low battery, I was like, okay, the possibility of me twinning. So I say this all to say, hold on. That's fine. I say this all to say, I think a lot of times, hold on. Let me plug this in. Hold on 1 second, C-Star. We burning out the batteries. We're burning out the batteries on this joint. Talking about the twins. Once you bring up the twins, you cause all kinds of reverberations through other time. Okay, so I have to plug that in. Okay, hopefully this works. All right. I think, like I said, I think it triggered me, and I think hearing your story also triggered a lot of other C-Stars. I think it's not, I used to think it was a psyop back when they talked about twinning, but I know it's the truth. Because I've seen, and you know how I am, I'll vet things out, and then I look at everything hindsight-wise, and I'm like, oh, snap. Everything that my twin is, I've been set up for him my whole life. I've been prepped for him my entire life. Everything, from his mother, from his family dynamics, from the way we look, what we say, what I like, what I do, what he does, everything. And when I met him, it was like the ultimate match. That's why it was so scary. It's like, oh, nah, no, you trying to be the perfected man in my life, and you're gonna try to drive me insane. I didn't really like having, because remember, I've been married for a long period of time, and people don't, I think I've been very transparent to say that marriage traumatized me to a certain degree. It freed me up, but whenever I meet someone who I have that kind of strong, especially I haven't met anyone but him, who that connection is so strong, it frightened me, because when you have a relationship where you invested a lot of time and energy and it fails after a long period of time, there is some hesitancy. So I don't ever apologize for running away, because it's me saving my heart, kind of, sort of. It's like saying, I've already been hurt. I've invested, 20 years to somebody. It didn't work out. And you're trying to take my heart like in 2.5 seconds. No, homie, I'm out. I'm out. You ain't going to get my heart like that. It's not going to happen. And, that's part of the fear that I had, because I felt it right away. And I knew that wasn't something I was willing to invest in initially. And I think I ran for him for I think 2 years, spent 2 years or more. But eventually, I decided to twin. Yeah, it's been a while. And it is still a journey, because I still have questions about myself, because they shadow you. Remember that? I have shadows that show up. So you still have to look at your twin and look at yourself, aspects of yourself that aren't quite as pretty and shiny. And your twin doesn't usually make it seem negative. My twin is very positive, but in it itself, me looking
it's
at
11:11 right now. Sorry.
Oh, is it 11:11? Oh, snap! My twin flame. Big up to my twin flame. I love you. I do. I love you.
I felt that.
We love our twin flames. Everybody,
so sweet.
tell your twin flames. Everybody on the feed, tell your twin flames that you love them telepathically. Tell them that you honor them. You appreciate who they are and all. Just tell them. I think it's nice to even telepathically or on an etheric level have a connection to a being that basically you came from. You were the flame that came from, you're from one, your source. Basically, you two together create source, a form of, a God-like being in flame that was splintered. It's beautiful. So anyway, C-Star, I know I've got it.
What I just remembered?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know other people have important things to say. It's just like, it's relative. Last year, I was in Albany with my best friend walking around, as we do, and I hear somebody yell my name. Now, I knew it was my twin. I knew it was him because I heard his voice, and I was like, LOL. He would be here while I'm here yelling at me. What? And I kept walking because I wasn't in the mood. And then he texted me and said, wow, I yelled out for you and everything. What are you up to? And I was like, oh, my bad. You know how I am. I was busy. Like,
I love your aloofness. Aloofness is actually quite attractive to men, yes. They like what they can't catch as easily as well. Yeah.
yes, yes. And in October of last year, again, I was in Albany with my best friend. We just got off the bus and we were walking back to the house, and we saw this car pull up. And in the passenger seat, my friend saw him, and then she explained the story to me, and I could, like, telepathically watch what she saw, like, in my head, though. And she saw him in the seat, in the passenger seat, and he saw me and, like, reclined into the seat and tried to hide in the car and, like, shield himself from me. And I found that interesting because, like, at that time, I wasn't even worried about what he was up to.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just like this cat and mouse game is so old. I'm over it. I know if I saw him and he saw me right now, it would be over. At this point, it would be so over. Everything else would melt away.
Yes, it's good. It's going to be a hot.
But, you know,
It's going to be a hot experience when you actually feel together with your twin. And like I said, you know, I almost think it's great for people, especially twins, to be in poor relationships with others right now, because it will bring about their spike in their evolutionary process. I said that so slight. It'll help to spike it.
it's true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember a yogi I was doing. This is back when I was doing. I used to do yoga when I was pregnant, especially with both babies. And I remember the yogi saying the best way to evolve a soul is to have a very tragic relationship, a tragic marriage. Yeah, the best way to spike a soul was to have a tragic relationship or a marriage. And I agree. I think that evolved myself. I think having a very poor relationship with someone who actually allowed me to realize how much I should love myself was amazing. And look what it's created by being in that relationship. So, you know, I'm grateful to the experience, and I would do it every time over again. And that takes a certain mindset, but that's what happens when you have poor relationships. It cultivates you. If it doesn't break you, it'll make you. Every single time.
Say that. That's true for me too. Before I met my twin,
Yes.
I had my first and only boyfriend, and it was long distance, and he dumped me a few days after my birthday, after he had been acting up for 3 weeks, and I was like, why didn't you tell me sooner? And he was like, I didn't want to ruin your birthday, and I was like, all right, you dumb, like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But then a few months passed, I was over the heartbreak, and my twin just flew into my life, and nothing was the same.
Exactly. So a twin is a twin is a twin. Twins will show up, and
Go ahead.
it's very, they come at really poignant parts in your life, and they has to be very specific, because twins they're not just meant for us to get together and love each other and feel ultimately whole. We have a purpose. That's the most beautiful part about this. It's not so much that you meet the person that fills you and completes you. It's that when you do, you actually create the change you wanted to see. You, by the very nature of you fielding together with a holistic part of yourself in unconditional love, forgiveness, joy, compassion, empathy, you yourself in the twinning zone create a beautiful universe. You allow the paradigm to level up. So it's in itself, that's how you know it is a true phenomenon, because it's only happening now. I haven't heard about twinning other than the last couple of years, but I noticed that we're at the end of a cycle. We have 2020 coming, we're at the precipice of Aquarius, and we're entering the 2012 calendar season. It's all purposefully and amazingly aligned. So I think it's amazing. I think it's perfect timing.
It absolutely is. It's on and popping, y'all.
Yo,
It's here.
It is, and it's beautiful. And I don't say, like, I never illuminate twin flame as being like just unrealistic, but it's like a spoonful of sugar. I don't know if you watch Mary Poppins. It's like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, medicine go down. It's kind of like the concept. It's like, you know, it's we need to go through this process, and it could be a little painful, but at the end of the day, it feels really good while we're going through it to a certain degree. So it allows us to want to do it. And like I said, for all the twin flames out there and those who are waiting for their twins, or those telepathically in contact with their twins in the etheric realms, just, you know, do you and be good with you. Because at the end of the day, the only way that you can really inevitably feel with your twin is when you're holistic yourself. So it isn't about them, it's about you. And as healthy and balanced as you get, you allow that plausibility and possibility, because your twin will have to match you and raise even, you know what I mean? So let it be. Let it be. Just work on you. Do you. Do you.
That's the best advice you could give, regardless if you're a twin flame or not. Do you and be great, and everything will fall into place.
Yes, always does. Inner world always reflects on the outer world. So, you know, but we're living in phenomenal times, so that's where this is allowed. That's the cool part about it. All right, C-Star. It was beautiful talking to you, love. Thank you for sharing your journey with everyone on YouTube, because we got you on IG, but we're sharing you on YouTube.
Yes, of course. I love talking with you, and I'm so glad I got to share with everybody. I hope what I talked about was helpful or enlightening at the very least. I love you all. Peace and greatness for everybody.
That's right.
We'll talk soon.
Twinning. Pew. Peace, C-Star.
Peace.
So we got into twinning. I see a couple people on there. If you have a question, push the number 1, because I'm going to close out the show with twinning. If anyone else, yep, we got a question. Okay, so hold on, family. Let me bring in our next person in the queue. We have 707. What's going on? 707. 7886. You're on the line with Fleur Broom. Peace,
Hi,
family.
Fleur.
Hey, PC, sir. Who's this?
Hi. This is Melinda.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing okay. So, I'm calling in tonight about twin flaming.
Oh!
And I think, I'm not sure, but I think my twin flame died last year.
I'm sorry. Okay.
And it's like all the signs of a twin flame that you read off earlier is what we have.
Yeah.
I remember just like seeing him, and I was like, where do I know you from? Where have I seen you before?
Yeah.
And so it's like really a long story of like our tumultuous relationship. We wound up getting married, you know, after like, I don't know, 6 years or so.
Yeah.
And it was really difficult for us to be together, you know, even in our marriage. And so we wound up divorcing. And then the night he died, I had texted him and I was like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa. He was like, it's crazy that you're texting me at a time of this. And then he was like, you know, I'll tell you about it later. He was like, you know, I love you.
Yeah.
And so I guess like 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, he died.
I'm sorry.
And so before his funeral, I went, you know, we viewed his body. But before we had viewed his body, I had a dream. And so he was in the dream. And then when I went to go view his body, he had on the same clothes that he had on in the dream in his casket.
What? Oh, wow.
Yes.
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 And, you know, we had a little boy. I talked to you
I know.
about...
Yes. Yes, I remember. I know because you're from Cypher, yeah. And we talked about exactly this and the circumstances. Absolutely.
And so, you know,
I'm having a really difficult time. I mean, because it's like we did divorce, but we were so close. Like that unconditional love that you spoke about is, I mean, you described it to the T, because that is exactly what we had. We, would fight like cats and dogs, and like boiling water, right?
Yes.
But it's like he drew out so many impurities, like everything.
Wait, rewind. Wait, C-Star, rewind. Say it again. Rewind. This is like a jiggle jiggle moment. Rewind. Say that again. He drew out what? Say it.
All of like my impurities that I have been hiding.
Yes.
That I had
Shadows.
like didn't want anybody to see. It's like they all came out and they have to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I feel so much stronger, but I feel like there's a part of me that's missing.
Yeah.
And like I've had dreams since he passed. He passed in November. This is another thing. We talk about synchronicities. So my mother passed away 10 years ago. Her birthday was on the 27th of July.
Okay.
And so it seems that 27th, we were talking about numbers earlier. So my ex-husband's birthday was on the 27th of November. My best friend from middle school's birthday is on the 27th of September. This guy that, kind of came after I had gotten divorced, his birthday is on the same day as my mother's birthday, which is the 27th. So I'm having like a lot of encounters with people who are born on the 27th.
Yeah.
And remember, I told you I'm just got to like sidestep. It's like really important to me.
Yeah.
So the guy that I'm telling you, like a different guy, right? Because I know you said a false twin flame will come before the real twin flame.
That's right.
So after my ex and I had broken up, I met this guy whose birthday is on the same day as my mother. And when we met, totally wasn't expecting it. I was like, I remember saying to myself, my God, he looks familiar. Where do I know him? The same thing I said about my ex when I met him in college.
Yes.
And so, I keep running from him. I'm running like crazy. But, okay, so back to the...
I love it. We run. Just run, Forrest, run.
This girl, okay? So my ex-husband and I, we got married on November 13th, 2013, okay? So he passed away on November 14th, a day after what would have been our 5-year wedding anniversary.
Interesting.
Not only that, he was cremated. His body was, prepped and then eventually cremated in the same city that we got married in. Now, mind you, he wasn't from that city. It was just happenstance that we went to this particular city and got married because he just wanted to get married.
Yeah.
But he didn't pass away there. It's just where he ended up. And so I'm like,
this is synchronistic.
did my twin flame die?
Yeah, this is interesting.
Is this, yeah.
It sounds like...
And I've had dreams about him. I've had dreams that we were kissing, I'd wake up, I've woken up like, oh my God, I know that I was with him last night,
Oh, I love it. I know that from hearing other journeys of other twinning, and not from our group necessarily, but from other groups that are connected, I've heard of 2 stories very similar to this where it was kind of vetted out that they most likely were twins and they transitioned, but the same thing as they were having dreams, almost like their twin was still connected to them no matter if they were in body or not. So the twin was still telecommunicating with them when they transitioned, and prior to transition. That's what makes you very unique, because I'm a researcher, so I always look for similarities or commonalities in research, because I can't get large populaces of people, so I have to look at commonalities amongst people from very different backgrounds. But I found that the 3 previous in another group. One was the gentleman had left a week prior and said goodbye, and then they passed. But it was the girl actually contacted him almost like she knew, and then after the transition, the constant coming together in, like, sometimes in wedding outfits or in outfits that they used to date in, and the fact that you saw his outfit before that he was being buried in or cremated in, that's also a testament of how close you both were energetically, frequency wise, because that's not common. I personally think that if you feel that was your twin, it's your twin. Especially if you feel it when they transcended. You know what I mean? Because that you more so would have a feeling stronger, like there isn't anything that matches it, because now he is in an earth form. So now there's probably more of a feeling of it's not like a twin that's still on earth that you're not with. It's a twin that's transcended. So there's probably more of a yearning or a feeling of disconnect because of them not being a physical body.
Yeah, because, it's like sometimes I'm like crazy, because it's like I can hear his voice in my head sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And, with the dream, he literally was, he didn't even, well, actually he did speak to me, but it was as if he was like, well, this is it. It was just like that. And then all of a sudden, our son, appeared in the dream, So it was just like,
it's beautiful.
The whole twin flame thing, it's like, I don't feel like there's anyone on earth at this point that's my twin flame,
And to make, I don't know if it makes you feel any different, is that, sometimes, like I spoke about before, and I guess I'll do another show specifically on the multi-dimensional twinning, or the multi-timeline twinning that happens, because even though your twin flame may have transitioned in this timeline, he may have not in another timeline, and you may be coexisting with him still, maybe tumultuously or calmly in another timeline with him on Earth. So sometimes it's easier for them to talk to you based on the fact that they are twinning with you, or they're still interacting with you in another timeline, another alternate version. So that's why I think he may be still around, because it's coming in too easy, almost like he's already with you in physical in another timeline. I don't know if that makes you feel better, but it's kind of nice to know that another version of you, because it's all you. It's all, remember, we're having collapsing of timelines. So you might be getting some of the bleed through of you coexisting with your twin in physical form. I don't know if that makes you feel okay, though.
Yeah, I've gone through all the stages of grief, and, I've, been thinking about this twin flame thing, for a couple years now, so it's like, I guess I do feel better, I do.
To know there's a version, why I say that is because if we overstand and understand that we coexist on a multiverse, then everything and anything has happened and is happening and will happen. So every version of you, the one that maybe had a little boy, had a little girl, you know what I mean? Or had twins, or the version of you and your husband where it was less tumultuous and you guys were coexisting more calmly. You know what I mean? There's every version of you on the multiverse, and scientists have now they've confirmed that exists. Before it was kind of like up in the air as a phenomenon that was just a theory, but it's a fact. So I just know you from a while ago, and I remember us having this conversation, and I feel your heart over this call right now, and it's hard for me to feel that because I know the yearning that you're having, but your twin hasn't left. They never will. There'll always be a party to you. That's the one resolve I can give you, that I can definitely give you 1,000%. Your twin always will be a party to you. So the good thing about it, even if he's not in physical form, is he's about you. Do you understand? So you always gonna be with him, regardless. So after this time and space, because time really doesn't exist, even though we feel it, and even in this time, he's still talking to you. He's still communicating with you. You can have you can actually, if you master that, and a lot of the people who go into delving into, people who've had passing of loved ones, you can actually have a whole life with him in the etheric realm with full consciousness and full memory of it, just like you do now, but just stronger and more purposeful. You could. So if you take that, this physical body is just one layer of a multi-layered verse, you can coexist with him as your twin. And I don't know, to be honest with you, during the convergence, I haven't even gone that far because I'm not that well versed as far as energetically when someone's transitioned. Who's to say that the convergence during this time where I know there's a big convergence of planets, who's to say that your twin doesn't merge with you anyway, even though he's transcended? Because it's all energy. So his energy didn't leave. So if a convergence is about two energies fielding together, who's to say he doesn't merge with you anyway? And then you have something more personable, or he shows up in a different form, you know, just for you. Because remember, if he's transitioned, he could come in another body as a walk-in or otherwise, according to some other people.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I see, like, I'm only attracted to men that resemble him, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
So, but I...
Yeah, we both suffer from that.
On that.
I think it's beautiful, though. I think you sharing this will help a lot of twins who've had just that same occurrence, that maybe don't have anyone who they could relate to. I think you helped a couple of the sea stars and sun stars on here who've lost loved ones. I'm so appreciative of you calling and sharing it, because I think a lot of times this is not a conversation that's open platform for many people, and also people who have grieved, who've lost their twin. This opens up a spectrum of conversation that they're not allotted.
Yes, I want to be a part of those conversations. It's ever, you know, maybe there's a way people could reach out to me and we could maybe start a group of, you know, people who have twin flames that passed on, you know.
I would love that.
It can feel kind of lonely when you have a connection to someone who's deceased, but everybody else around you has moved on, you know, and then it's like you're still feeling this heaviness in your heart. And it's like, well, are you a weirdo? If I said to my family, like, oh, I hear his voice, or, oh, you know, I'm dreaming about him, like, every week. You know, like, girl, you're tripping. You need therapy.
No,
you know?
you need to speak about it. Therapy is being transparent, expressing yourself, and resolving it. You know, I always feel like, why is it wrong for you to express yourself, or you're grieving, or you're wanting, or you're hearing him? Spirits are not gone. It's energy. Energy doesn't dissipate. It stays around. I mean, even Thomas Edison, the thief of the concept of electricity, knew that. So it doesn't go away. So yes, he can speak to you, and yes, you can hear him. And anybody spiritual or empathetic would know that that's plausible. And even if it wasn't, allow somebody to grieve in the way that they want to grieve.
Yeah.
And for anyone,
thank you for room for.
Oh, I just wanted to say, for anyone who has twin flames who may have passed or transitioned or loved ones, I think our Sea Star would you be willing to head the group? Would you want to do that? I don't know if you have time to do that, but if you want to, you can hit me up in my email, and if you want to collectively just talk maybe once a week as a group, I think it would be very healing and beautiful. There isn't anything wrong with that. I think that's the therapy. Maybe just having people who are going through similar and like experiences. So hit me up in an email, and if C-Star is down for it, she'll be a party to it. I'm just like a Sag. I put you in that position.
I would love to do that.
Oh, I love it. So our C-Star said
that's a wonderful idea.
Okay, so hit me up in the email, and I'll forward everything, and you guys collectively come together. You know, they have like the free conference call thing. I used it when I did the whole pregnancy thing. You know, come together once a week, and you guys talk about twin flames or losing loved ones, and I think it's very healing, and I think it's beautiful. I think sometimes we think of merging just with twin flames, but sometimes our soul group are just people who have similar and same experiences that we need to come together with. So I think it's a win-win.
Yes. I love you.
Thank you. I love you, Mama. Talk to you soon. Peace. Oh, it's such a beautiful journey. I've talked to her. I remember the passing of her husband, and we talked a while ago, and I think so amazing. I thought it was so brave and so beautiful that she shared that experience with her. And I personally think that was her twin. I think that was her twin, and he transitioned. I think he had to a certain degree, and there's more to the story. But I think if you join the group, I think she's willing to do it. And this is what I will do. I do well. I bring people together. And, you know, I think if you have lost someone, a love, it doesn't even have to be a twin, and you feel like you want to talk to some other sisters and sun stars, just hit me up in the email. I'll collect you guys together, put you all in, you guys do what you want. I won't be heading it because, you know, I already can't. I got my hand in too many pots. But I support it 1,000%. I'll come on every once in a while if you guys want to kiki and I'll sit down and we'll chat it up. All right? So, you know, my email, I think I'll put it in here. It's on usually my YouTube, but I'll put it on again. Okay, so I'll take one more caller. Do I have another caller? Oh, yeah, I have one more caller, 681-1794. That's the last caller of the evening. 681-1794. You're on a line with Flurber and Peace Family.
Peace. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, peace, Star.
Hi, peace. So I have some questions. When you were mentioning about the walking, and when she was talking about that she's attracted to a particular physical characteristic,
yeah.
How would then if she's believing that her twin has already passed, how would she then be able to recognize if the walking looks a little bit different?
Because the twin has the same essence. Vibration, it doesn't matter if a twin is, it's just like in incarnations, you can recognize a soul just by the soul essence, the frequency they emit. Twins know each other. It doesn't matter what form. You could take off the body, the human body, and put on another one, and you could recognize your twin. They just have they emit the same frequency. So you'll recognize your twin. Now, I never was big into the walking concept, but my sisters are big into Paola. Paola actually talks about another YouTuber that talks about walk-ins as a possibility. Like if a twin doesn't get a chance to be with you in this life, or they pass in transition, they have an opportunity to go into a walk-in, as a walk-in to somebody who's kind of checked out and said, listen, you know, I'm done. I kind of want to leave a little early than my previous adjusted time in this incarnation, and a walk-in makes a cognitive decision. You know, the person who's letting a walk-in makes a cognitive decision to opt out, and the walk-in opts in. So I've heard that before, and I think anything is plausible and possible at this point. And if you watch movies, I think there's movies that even talk to this, where you see spirits jumping into other bodies. Spirits do it all the time. Why would we think a being who's a soul wouldn't be able to do it? We've heard of walk-ins, and walk-ins walk in for many different reasons. You know, I think maybe it's plausible.
So if you have a soul, is it possible then for a walk-in to come in while you're occupying the body?
No, I think you opt out. I don't know how exactly it goes. You know, this is something I'm not well vetted in, but to my understanding, and remember, it's very limited. I always tell you when I'm very limited in knowing something. To my knowledge, it's a person's opts out. Like they go into the hospital and they're very sick and they just don't want to be there anymore. They're just giving up on, or they just opt out because they're done. They kind of feel like they completed their mission. They may opt out, and if an opportunity for the other soul is to come in, they will come in that body with the soul, full soul. Soul leaves, soul comes. Sometimes bodies don't have souls. Sometimes we have empty seaters or people who have what we consider to be spirits. Not really, they're not. So now this is where I feel this way. There are people who don't have souls. You know, I talk about this all on my, there are people who don't have souls, but they have bodies.
Right,
Okay.
but they haven't sparked the soul.
That's right. They haven't sparked the soul. So if that essence leaves, a full soul can occupy a body easily, more so than a spirit can. So yeah, there could be a walk out in that way and a walk in. So I think it's plausible. I haven't vetted it out. I haven't met many people. I've met people who I think are walk-ins, but this is not my department. We would probably have to go to people who are into twin flames and also walk-ins, a little more vetted in this topic. But I think anything's possible at this point.
Now, two questions I wanted to ask you. One, when you talked about us living on a multiverse, when you do your show in the future, is there a way that we're able to ourselves hop onto a different multiverse if we're mixing our twin flame on this one? So, for example, like for my fellow Sea Star, if she's really yearning for the loss of her twin, is she able to hop onto another multiverse to be able to catch up with him?
Yes, we have the convergence going on right now, the collapsing of timelines. It's probably easier for her to do it than now. So yes, she can. And remember, in the multiverse, we look a little different. So you'll see a Flurboon that may have lighter hair or shorter hair or chunkier or skinnier. There's different versions of us in the different parallel universes. So the multiverse collapsing right now during the convergence, we're going through the convergence to 0 point. Yes, it is very plausible that she could jump into another timeline with her twin on set, and he may look a little different. If you want to get a concept of this, watch Spideyverse. It's a cartoon. My little ones took me to go see it. All the Spider-Mans showed up in different multiverse. They came to one universe all together, and they look like different beings. Like a Spider-Man that was chunky, he wasn't in shape. There was one that looked like a pig, like a cartoon. There was one like an Asian figure. She was like a scientist. So all these versions of Spider-Man showed up in the multiverse when they had a black hole open and bring them from all the different dimensions and parallels. So yes, during this time, if she cognitively and purposefully, we've done it. You've seen me do it on IG. We did the timeline jump. It worked every single time. She can utilize the energy of the convergence to jump into another timeline with her twin. I do know that. She can.
Is it possible for her to even travel to a different country to be able to catch up with these different?
Say that again, C-Star. Say that louder. What did you say?
Is it possible for her to travel to a different country so that she would be in a different timeline to be able to better mature their flame?
That's deep. I think it's plausible. You brought up a possibility that I accept. Yes. You're clever. You are so clever, yes. Because I believe that we traveled through time. When I went to Brazil, it was a totally different timeline. It was like a totally different universe. I feel like I jumped through time. Yes, she could meet. And remember, I think many of you know when I went to Brazil, I don't think I talked about it on YouTube, Doc Stigler, who's a good friend of mine. Big up to Doc Stigler. He's going to come on the show tonight. He was doing a meditation group with the school. But Doc Stigler, I called Doc, and I said, Doc, your twin is here. And he laughed and giggled, and I sent pictures of him. And it was the same guy, and the guy had the same kind of vibration as Doc's. He was just totally different. He looked just like him. I mean, to the point where Doc's was showing his family members, and they were like, that's scary. Yes. So, yes, there's different versions of you in different ways, and I believe personally she could meet another version of her twin flame with his actual soul jumped into another body in another time, or the version of him in another time. In another time and timeline. It gets a little confusing, but yes, she can meet him again. And she can meet him as another version of him. Yes.
I'd like to ask you a question about the soul in a slightly different form. I have a family member who's mourning the loss of our dog, and I'm wondering,
sorry.
Are animals able to possess the soul?
Animals are a little different. I don't want to judge whether it's a soul or not. They do have soul essence, so to speak. They do have that, and they do come back and incarnate in same families. My dogs have incarnated in similar families. Also, I've had a dog that stayed with me as a guide, and I smelled them every time I was going through something a little scary or I was disconcerted in a situation. One of the dogs would come. So this is my personal opinion. I think dogs and cats have soul essence. I think they do. I think they're splintered from a huger version of themselves, more intergalactic. This is my personal opinion. I think they're more connected to some of the galactic families like Sirius, the Lyrians, the Lyrans, things like that. I think they have a connection to those galactic beings, and I think they're splintered essence of those beings. That's why they come in smaller versions of them. So I personally think they do. I think they can reincarnate in families. And I think a lot of times when they know that their family, my dog stayed around until I got over them. Murphy, many of you saw them on videos with me, Murphy, Lee, and Sheena. They stayed with me. And I literally would see them around the house or hear barking until they knew I was okay. So, I do believe they have soul essence. I wouldn't consider it the same as us, because we're a little more advanced in certain aspects. I think they're the smaller version of bigger versions of themselves in celestial ways. That's just my opinion.
I would love to be able to have a platform at some point to be able to discuss with you my sister's cat
Yeah.
in the way that she passed on, because she passed on, and I've had she passed on at incremental sequential numbers, that it went 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then when my sister was looking to get a dog, on my odometer it said 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
And then when I recently went to go visit the dog, my odometer at the time when I was planning it, it said 67890 on my odometer.
Okay.
So I was looking for numbers, and I would love to have a conversation with you at another time about that.
Yeah, the numbers are everything. You know, the numbers are everything. It's the matrix way. Matrix has patterns of sequences of numbers that show up as, you know, like energy. So whenever you see synchronistic numbers, it always details the connection to whatever was connected to those numbers or sequences. So I know that it shows up more than not. So I know that it has relevancy. You know what I mean? If every time it was by chance, then I'd be like, that's not, you know, it's chance. But I see too many times when the numbers show up and they always are relative to the scenario and the frequency and the vibration, matching it. So I think it's relevant.
Okay. My last question to you for the night, and I really don't, I'm not advising anybody to do this.
Yeah.
I'm only asking this as just a possible question.
Okay.
I'm not trying to start anything here. So please exercise a little bit of listener discretion. And I'm not advising you for anyone to do. So I'm just asking as a curiosity, which I would not do. If you want to be able to synchronize a loss of the twin flame, would it help those to commit suicide? Not that I would do that, and I wouldn't advise anyone to do that.
If it would connect through dying, you said?
To be able to connect to a loss of a twin, if you were to end your life.
You got to remember there's consequence to that too. You got to be careful, because when people, it's just like the concept of suicide. When you take yourself out physically and you end a contract preempt to your fulfilling a contract, there's a consequence to it. And most people who commit suicide are put in quarantine into the spirit realm, meaning they're not allowed to contact their family members in the earthbound realm, and nor are they allowed to pass on and cross and go through the next stage of evolution in them going and being processed and then being back into incarnation if that's what they chose. They go into like a stalemate, and sometimes if the trauma of the suicide is so traumatic, they end up living and coexisting in a world where it's like Groundhog Day. They continuously, perpetually do the same thing over and over and over again. I wouldn't suggest anyone do that, just for those consequences. Now, we die every night when we go to sleep, so in it itself, you wouldn't have to physically kill yourself. You can literally go to sleep and connect to all beings that you choose, especially as masterful as you are spiritually and metaphysically. You can connect, ladies, thank you. You can connect with anyone on any plane of existence as masterful. I know it's like the end of Mommy's show, and they're like, yeah. You can connect with anyone on any plane of existence. And where I learned this from, I got to give all props to Dr. Delbert Blair. He taught me this well. He let me know and also showed me aspects of we cross over every time we go to sleep. We have an end, we're safe because we have our cord attached to our body. So we can travel safely, especially if we're very masterful and creating shields around us, and we can come back to our body and we can engage with anyone we want on the other side. So that's the best way I think you can reconnect. Like Melinda said, she was connecting with her husband already. She didn't have to pass away. She was already doing it. He was doing it with her. So it's unnecessary for you to have to share the same ending of physicality in order to interact with someone spiritually. You can do it every night or in the day if you're masterful at meditation, and you can cross those barriers.
Would you be able to do a video on that and go into a little bit more depth on that at a future time?
I think I wouldn't be the best you know, I got to give props or props. I don't have the credentials to do that. I know how to do it as far as in theory, but there are people who are way more masterful at bringing people through the layering effect. Now, I've done timeline jumping. I could do that because we did it together. A lot of us did that together. I can vet that out. But as far as that, you would have to go to those who are more mastered in meditation and also crossing over I call them the barren straits in the etheric realms. I meet people in the etheric realm. I only sleep consciously. I haven't had most of my sleep, my faded out nights are lucid dreaming. I'm not even lucid dreaming, lucid traveling. I've done that since I was 12. So I'm good at lucidity as far as when I go into dream state. So I'm always in the ether, and people tend to meet me. Sometimes even before they come to my video, they'll meet me first, and then they'll see the video after. So I'm mastered in that. But as far as getting there and going through the layers of going to the realm where the non-living live, I've done that because my father passed, but I'm not a master in it. I just do it intrinsically and innately now. So I would think there would be some other people who are more vetted in that than I. I don't want people getting stuck somewhere I can't get them out of, you know what I mean?
Okay. This is very fascinating. It certainly extends my mind.
I'm grateful.
I love.
Well, thank you, C-Star, for calling in.
I also want to thank.
Yes?
Yeah, I want to thank my fellow C-Stars for sharing their stories. They were very, very interesting. So kudos to you, ladies.
Oh, I appreciate you, C-Star. Have a masterful evening. Peace. Oh. All right, we had amazing discussion tonight. Thank you for all the C-Stars calling in. Every call was like on point, like everything. I think we expanded our consciousness. I think we're going to have helicopters all around our homes tomorrow and tonight. So anyway, I thank everyone for joining for the conversation again on Aquarius Rising, the ninth gate. I'm always grateful when you join me on the show. We had a really amazing conversation. Again, this show will be added to Patreon. You know, this wasn't supposed to be on here, but you know how the universe is. That can't stop, won't stop. The universe was like, this is for all of y'all. So thank you again for joining. Thank you for, again, everyone joining for the collective conversation and the additives to this. And know that everybody has a chance to twin. Twinning is what it is, and it's part of who we are. So if anything I say, you know, big up to all the twinners in the house, and enjoy twinning. Happy twinning. Blissful twinning. All right, family. So thank you again for joining. Again, join me again for next Thursday on Aquarius Rising Ninth Gate. Thank you for all the callers calling in. Thank you for everybody who came in the queue, who added to the wonderful conversation. And thank you for all those who really do a lot of the background work that we can actually vet together in the realms of twinning. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out until the convergence. I'm looking forward to the convergence. You know, as a researcher, I love to see if I've broken a code. I love breaking codes. And when I break codes and they come and solidify, I'm excited. Anyway, family, I love you. Have a masterful evening. Thank you, Black Talk, for joining me. Have an amazing evening, and I shall talk to you later. Peace.